All right, even though Brodor is a massive failure, does anyone want to do a game recap?
I mean, I don't know. I appreciate that you rely upon me for keeping accurate and detailed notes about the game sessions, but sometimes I forget stuff. Okay. Oh, you don't know. Oh, that fucking cut. All right, fair enough. All right. Well, you can have these postcards back or index cards and this fucking pencil. I'm done. Yeah.
I'm just phoning in the rest of the game now.
My notes for today's game, buttholes. I'm just going to draw different butthole sizes, gaping, weeping, torn, tight buttholes. That's what we're getting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You asked for it.
I did.
You did. You pulled my string. Don't forget
out of your butthole.
Yeah. All right. So we're not negative episode territory.
There was like challenge accepted.
No, if we were, he'd be talking serious.
Yeah.
He'd have given you the whole recap right now with detail.
Yeah, and then some life advice in there.
Yeah. You're right.
Okay. Does anyone want to do an actual recap?
So last time we played, we were taken over by the Carver clan and being walked back to their main camp by Koresh. I remember Koresh had a horse. Not all of them had horses. There were a lot of foot troops. I think he said there was about a dozen to 20 guys. I could be wrong on the number. And in between us and the camp was a farmstead. We knew that it was something bad was coming because Casey, I believe, was kind of warning us about that, and we kind of had a sense for it anyway. That they were basically going to sweep over the farmstead like a wave and just start killing, eating, raping, and stealing and everything. And I think for Lee, the scariest part about it was not the physical violence, but it was the conceptual, the reasons behind why they were making it, justifying it, how they were justifying it to themselves. And it was that scared Lee the most, because they were saying basically it was their land, promised land. It was this sort of pseudo-religious thing, and that they had a right to do these horrible things to people. So anyway, Casey, basically, Vodemar was on a palanquin and being toted around. They were trying to get a couple of us to go with them to do these horrible things to these people on the farm. There were some plays made where basically Philip was going to kind of try and hold Vodemar hostage in a way, and to save some people, possibly Joe, because Joe ran forward and tried to do a sort of sacrificial redemption thing for himself, and ended up kind of tricking the guys who were attacking the farm into thinking, hey, he's into it, yeah, and he actually ran past them and got ahead of them. So Philip kind of turned his plan around a bit, got Casey to go over there and save Joe, and basically I believe Casey said that he was going to made a deal with Joe of like, okay, you go back and don't die. I can honor my deal with Philip. I will save one person. The adults in the farm were killed. There were 2 kids. Koresh, if I'm not mistaken, killed the boy. When the boy, he basically said, hey, be one of us, come with us. And the boy pulled his iron, and then they killed him. And then there's the little girl. All comes out. Phil makes this play to try and save the little girl. And there's evidence, and I don't want to get into the super deep in the weeds evidence of what this exactly was, but let's just say that there was evidence that this little girl's Philip's child. To save her, we did some plays to make it look like it was Motimer's child, because Motimer is the chosen one, is the nephew of the Maw Carver, the sister that runs the whole thing. So that was really tense. Slide into the camp, see a little bit of the camp life. There was a passion play being recreated in front of us, although it was not really much play and a lot of bleeding horribleness. As a lesson to the kids, this is basically a Sunday school lesson with live people getting crucified. Maul Carver. We talk to her for a bit. Find out that Bodemar is related to her. It was her sister's son?
Right.
Her sister's son, who died under mysterious circumstances. We don't have no idea how her sister died. Right, Wayne?
Yeah, our characters have no clue.
Our current characters have no clue. So, we talk to her a bit, and we come to find out a couple of really very key points. One is that she's very old and was alive before the war. She was a forest ranger in her youth.
Carver's not her name.
Carver's not her name. She is...
Original name, I should say.
While she is batshit crazy, she's not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She's senile. She's old. She's losing it. Or has lost it. Well, as far as we know, Koresh is influencing that. There might be other forces influencing it as well. Probably the Ratman was influencing her susceptibility to be influenced because of her.
She referred to the Ratman as them.
Yes.
Like he was part of an organization that had resources.
Yeah. There were a lot of sort of clues and pieces laid out, a lot of it involving a scrapbook and Lodamar and her in the past and what is going on here. I do not believe everybody at the table got everything, including myself. I think that there's a lot of missing puzzle pieces that we probably need to dig into a bit.
If I only had my notes.
Right.
I think one of them was it was a cave of some sort.
Yeah, there was a cave involved.
There was an X on the map where his landing site is.
Potentially.
So,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
something else we had discovered at some point, I don't know if that was before that or not, was the railroad on the south had been moving people.
Right. Yep. There's a railroad to the south involving the place with the rocket ships and
it connects Waycross, which is where they trade, and it heads farther west. You don't know they built it, but it gets close to where Jacksonville trades.
And we learned that it's a lot of like passenger cars. So we're thinking, are they moving troops? Is there going to be a big fight here? Or, is it just tourists wanting to see the Mark Twain National Forest? That's got to be it.
There is a prophecy that Modamar will either bring chaos or bring
Cake.
or bring peace, one of the
Chaos.
two. That he can basically he can either change things for good or change things for bad when the danger from the south comes.
Koresh purportedly has visions, but we don't know if Koresh has visions and believes he has visions, and then translates that to Mock, the Carver lady. Is she Mock Carver? Does she have that title?
Yes, she goes by the name of Carver. Yes.
Or he doesn't have visions and he is lying and basically using that to... We don't know what level of crazy. Is he just evil and crazy or just evil?
Yeah, her actual name, which you got from the scrapbook, is Jacqueline Schultz, but she goes by the name June Carver.
Yep.
Or he's a displaced cleric.
Of, like,
I don't
the
know.
Emperor? Or...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Fucking call it Drewwood, and you ask him what god Koresh is a cleric too. But the dude does magic.
Yeah.
He has a scepter of office, and he did magic.
Like I said, there was the liquid that he poured on Modamar's wound that closed the wound up, but did not knit the bones. That did that for Modamar, gave Joe religion.
Or might have been some shot that you gave Modamar right before that.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, I might have been... Who knows? Who knows?
And
I didn't have to shoot myself, so...
Lee manipulated Ma Carver into remembering a false memory
Yes.
of Modamar with a little stuffed rabbit.
Yep. We planted a memory in her.
I'd know that rabbit's name if I had my notes.
Silly.
Thank you.
Silly.
Yeah, Leanne's security toy, Silly.
Mm-hmm.
And Santa's going to bring her a brother for Silly.
And Lee also got silly from that guy, and he gave the guy a book, The Magic Elevator, so that he could have his daughter have it read to her, and he asked him, promise him, to get his daughter to learn how to read. Not just have books read to her.
Okay, Chad has earned a boule.
Thank you. I've got 3.
All right.
You don't need notes.
After
I do.
by the end of the evening, you guys have had your corn muffins or your cornbread and some warm mugs of very thick milk. I don't mean that like in a gross way. I don't. That's not some innuendo. I just mean
Non-pasteurized milk straight from the
exactly. This is not pasteurized skim milk. I mean, this is straight from either
It's proper milk.
yeah, this is straight from a cow or goat or something like that.
I tell him I only drink skim.
Oh, you're SOL. And at which point, Ma, who has within that pavilion that she's in, as I talked about before, has dividers and curtains hanging up such that it sort of breaks out into other rooms. And you guys are offered places to sleep, not in the same spot she does, but in the same pavilion. Because on the far side of one of the walls, there's a bunch of mats and carpets and piled up pillows and bedding that's been laid down. It's very, kind of ancient Near Eastern style sleeping. But that's made available to you for any of you that are...
What time of day? It's evening. Right?
Oh, yeah, it's evening. You guys...
It's had a rough day.
Yeah, it's been a long day, and also keep in mind that you spent about a week on the road.
Mm-hmm.
A week traveling. I'm not sure I'd call it on the road.
Right.
But you spent a week traveling.
I just some like housekeeping type stuff. I inquire with someone, where can we get our clothes cleaned? Because like we kind of jumped off the boat. We've probably been wearing the same socks for a week, and just get cleaned up, us clean, our clothes clean, kind of resupply. Is there a market or something?
There's no market.
It's like a communal thing.
So when you start asking around about that,
Whose dick does Joe got to suck to get me some new socks?
Joe, you have extra socks in your inventory.
The line starts right there.
Lee, when you start asking around, this makes its way to Koresh, and Koresh has sent to you a younger-ish woman.
Oh yeah,
Upper 20s, maybe lower 30s, dark hair. She's dressed in fairly thick clothing. I mean, it is cold. It's October. So she's dressed in fairly thick clothing. It's kind of tattered leather gloves. She has a big scarf around her neck, black hair in a ponytail. And she's sent to you guys. And she enters the tent, and she has a very meek posture. She only looks at you fleetingly and says, I understand you've been inquiring about some kind of help?
Yeah, well, he's very smelly, and we just can't take it anymore. He needs a bath. I'm trying, joking. I'm trying to
It will take time to heat the water to draw a warm bath, but I'd be happy to do that.
Lee is trying to get this girl to crack a smile. And he's like, well, what about his socks? I mean, you could kill a badger with those things.
We can wash those or get him new ones.
All right. Well, is there like a marketplace here, trader, anything?
No, everything that anyone needs is provided by the clan itself. We don't buy and sell like that. It's not like other places.
Right. Well, that's good. That's very progressive, as it were.
Well, I'll draw a bath and find him some clean socks then.
Great, and maybe some clothes for us too. We've been on the road for a week, and we had to leave our boat and most of our supplies behind.
Of course, I'll bring you new clothes.
And how do you bathe around here? Do you have a bathhouse?
We don't.
Coming into the camp, are these people like dirty, filthy, don't bathe, outdoorsy people, or do they generally see, what's the level of hygiene of the camp?
The level of hygiene is not what you saw in St. Louis, but they do seem to be making some attempt at cleanliness.
What's the level of sanitation in the camp?
They also, once again, they seem to be making some attempt at sanitation. Now, you would not call this the cleanest place in the world, but you also don't look around the place and think, wow, this is a cholera outbreak that's days from happening.
Okay. Okay. Great, thanks. What is your name?
They call me Songbird.
Songbird, that is a beautiful name. My name's Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
This is Joe, Philip, Modemar.
Hello.
Guys, this is Songbird. She was sent to help us.
Oh, Mr. Carver. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I look behind me like, oh, me. It's nice to meet you too, Songbird. Why do they call you Songbird? Do you sing good?
No, I don't imagine so.
They just called you Songbird for no reason.
Maybe it's like the Native American. Oh, he does not say Native Americans. There's no more America. It's like the Indians, right? There's a story where the first thing the father sees when he walks out of tent when their child is born is the first thing they call their child.
I sit down on whatever litter of pillows is there. I start taking off my boots. And I look at the rest of the group very seriously, and I say, it's because she's a screamer. And then I undo my sword belt, and I drop it on the floor, and I roll over to go to sleep.
Anyway.
Well, I'll bring you some new clothes, and I'll draw a hot bath.
Great, thank you. I have kind of a technical question you might not know the answer to. Are we allowed to walk around the camp? Or do we have to tell anybody, or are we not allowed to leave the tent? I just don't want to make anyone mad.
I can ask either Ma or Mr. Koresh, but you're not being kept as prisoners by my estimation.
Is there anywhere in the camp where we're not allowed to go? Obviously not in people's private.
Well, the place that's usually hardest to get into, you're already in.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Is there anything we can do for you?
No.
Are there any other books on the bookshelf where her scrapbook was?
It's not a... Yeah, there's actually a stack of books there.
Okay. I just want to just take a look and see what kind of books she has.
Satanic Bible, Anarchist Cookbook.
Just
How to Eat People.
Bookshelf or Brodor's?
Right.
How to Serve Man.
How to Serve Man, yeah. So as you go through it, it's this really weird collection. There's the scrapbook, there's a copy of the Bible, there is a bunch of children's books, picture books and such. There's, you find a very old vinyl sleeve. You're guessing she just likes it for the album art. You have no idea why she has this. You don't see a record player.
Led Zeppelin, Hasta Holy.
There's some kind of dingy magazines in there. No, I mean it's just really bizarre, eclectic stuff.
I think I'm gonna lay down and try to sleep.
Okay. Chad, she does bring in a literal bathtub, and I don't mean like a porcelain one. I mean like the
wooden tub.
The wash tub. Yeah, like a wooden wash tub. And has to be a pre-war make or post-war make, excuse me, because nobody pre-war was making these.
Right.
And they fill it with hot water and presumably heated somewhere relatively nearby. And they also bring you each a new set of clothing. Everyone give me a general intelligence check. Just 2d6 plus your smarts.
16.
11.
17.
So, you notice that well,
Is there
Motomar...
an ear in a pocket? Or
No, nothing like that, but you do notice that the ones that are monogrammed either seem to be monogrammed with the last initial of G or actually have green monogrammed on them. These are from the farm. But they are clean and in good shape.
I strip down naked and I get in the tub.
Okay.
And I don't care if what's her name's here. The doctor chick.
Oh, Dr. Sonia Marshall.
Yeah.
By this point, she's sitting down, sort of reclining on the bedding, fairly close to Motomar. And she does give you a partial shot of painkillers to help you sleep.
Exactly.
What about Emily?
I take my clothes off
They
in
sent
front of
her,
her, too.
you mean Leanne? Because Emily, you guys sent to St. Genevieve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Cape.
Yeah.
Cape, rather.
I didn't know that. That happened when a session I was at.
Oh, okay, yeah. Emily's in Cape. They sent her on to Cape Girardeau.
Okay.
Yeah. She's... I was about to say she's safe, but we're in SOG. She's got diphtheria. Doing better than us.
Yeah, she's in Cape Girardeau. She's not
Okay.
here. So the only child with you is Leanne.
Okay.
In NPCs in general, you also have Dr. Marshall and Casey are both with you.
Lee jumps in the tub. He is pasty. He is, he's thin, and he is skinny to the point of bony. He is very frail. He's a frail, sickly person. He puts on such a good show, and he also wears like layers and layers of clothes. You kind of forget how, like, you can just kind of flick him and he'll break.
Anyone else do anything that night?
No, I'm gonna, like I said, as soon as Lee finally shuts up, I'm gonna try to get some sleep.
Well, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. so sun comes up and you're still awake. So all right. So as you're closest to the opening of the tent, and as it gets to be nighttime, you do start to see flickering lights outside campfires. There is a central bonfire in the middle of town. There's a gathering of people there that it reminds you a lot of what the town squares or outsides of taverns would look like, in that you have a fairly substantial number of people gathered there. They're laughing, they're talking, telling stories. Occasionally they'll sing a song, and they seem to be at least pantomiming some degree of normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
By the following morning, you guys are woken up to...
I'm already up.
You're already up? Oh, that's right, early riser.
Early riser.
Okay, all right. So you are already up when Songbird comes back in, and it goes over to the opposite side of the tent, and you can hear her talking to Paul Carver.
Okay.
And she leaves and then comes back a short while later with several, and she brings in a fairly large tray, and on that tray is a stack of mismatched plates, some wooden flatware, and there's some grilled ham and eggs, and I mean, actually, fairly decent breakfast.
I'm sure it's ham.
Yes, it's not.
It's long
pork.
pig.
It's not long pork. So you're already up.
Yeah.
By the time that she brings that back in, Ma Carver is sitting back in her chair, and Songbird has set up a beaten up and repaired 2 or 3 times over, like a TV tray, kind of, like a fold-out single wooden table, and she's put some of the food on that, and Songbird comes over and says, Ma's ready for you to join her for breakfast.
Excellent. I go over.
Okay, so...
Do not, very specifically, put stuff on my plate. I do not eat any of it, and Joe is... I don't know why I think I'm Joe.
Because you're trying to be awesome?
No, it can't be that. Lee is waiting for her to, start a prayer or something like that.
She waits until everyone's there first.
Mm-hmm.
And...
If Philip goes reaching for some eggs, Joe kind of... Damn it, Lee! I think it's because I'm sitting this way and I see Joe right here on the table.
We turn it this way.
Yeah.
Look at the back of yours.
Yeah.
Oh, turn yours around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with with how longingly you look at me specifically.
That's right.
Yeah, if that was the case, you'd narrate every action as Pete.
What does Pete do in this gunfight? Well, he just flips his beautiful hair and strokes his glorious
The
beard.
masses are ensorcelled by his beauty. Yeah, so I'm going to get up and get dressed in, with my clean clothes and go into breakfast as well.
As you guys are getting dressed and getting prepared for this, Leanne sees Dr. Marshall putting on a set of clothing that was given to her, and she says, Phil, into your chest. She's just kind of murmuring it to herself. She just says, "That was mommy's," and she starts crying.
I just I hold her.
And
I don't think she'd mind loaning it out.
she doesn't say anything further. So you guys gather out there. You're carried out there. And Moz prepares, says, well, let's say a blessing and let's get started. Oh, Lord, we thank you for this bounty that's set here before us. May you bless this food, and may we walk in your light, not as the heathens do with the iron bowls. And it's in your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Men.
Just kind of nod.
I hope you slept well last night. Please dig in. Don't let the food get cold. It's just not the same when it's cold.
I proceed to tuck in.
Yeah, I dig in.
Was there a drink?
You have been presented with what looks like fairly clean water,
okay,
and also some more milk.
Okay.
Any coffee, Ma?
We actually have coffee.
Would St. Louis even have coffee?
Yeah, would anyone around here have coffee? Because coffee doesn't grow in this climate.
Tea.
My guess is going to be no.
You can have
tea, yes.
chicory. You can have fake coffee.
Yeah, or
chicory.
Or tea, because you can make tea from a variety of things.
Yeah.
You make tea out of.
I'm sure there's a tea and there's a coffee, but it's probably not from tea leaves or coffee beans.
In fact,
No,
when he
but
was up by St. Louis, he was drinking. I had him drinking chicory.
No, I said, well, you can drink, or mid-drink. You can make tea out of a variety of fruits and flowers and things like that. So, no, she would have tea, hot tea to offer you. Probably like a hot, like, apples, sort of spiced tea.
Okay.
Because that's something you can make out of things that are easily found in this area.
Not cinnamon.
Not cinnamon, no.
Or nutmeg.
Correct.
I mean, you would have cinnamon because it would be on a shelf in a warehouse. It would be 50 years old, wouldn't taste like anything.
Yeah, but for example, apples are fairly, and there are bitter herbs and such, or spiced herbs that you can dig up from the forest or from the woods.
A lot of fresh meth.
Yeah, a lot of meth.
The tea has cilantro on it.
Yes, it's an apple cilantro tea.
I give up on this
We
world.
call it a salapple tea.
Can we play riffs?
No, I'd dig in as well and drink my tea and
Yeah,
eat.
staying fairly quiet as I eat and kind of look around and
Ma, what are your plans for today?
Well, for me, I'm probably going to read some to the children. There's also a baseball game that we're going to be playing later, and I'll be there being the honorary umpire.
Oh, fun.
I don't see as well as I used to, but they humor me, and so I just play along, dear.
Oh, that's nice. What are the team names?
Oh, I don't even know. They organize it, and I just show up for it. And, they have a grand old time, and I'm just happy to see them happy.
That's nice.
And maybe before or after that, well, I know that Koresh has been wanting to take Modamar to be baptized, to be christened into the family name. So you guys might have a busier day than I do.
No, I'm sure.
Will I be healed?
Well, I don't know. He told me that he was going to pray and fast about that, so we'll have to see what he says.
I have faith.
Well, that's wonderful, dear. I'm glad to hear that.
does he heal people often?
Oh, no, not too terribly often, but this is a special situation. Miracles happen when miracles are needed most. God need not prove himself to us.
Sure. He just kind of nods and keeps eating.
Awkward silence.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. It's this very awkward...
Well, if you say the wrong thing, you might die. But if you don't say anything, you're a jerk. Because she's a nice little lady. So everyone errs on the side of not that.
As you guys are eating, and you're kind of in this awkward silence of having no idea what to say to this woman, Koresh walks in and walks past, or walks around you guys to Ma.
I wish him a good morning.
He doesn't even acknowledge you.
What a dick.
I give him a look of hatred.
He doesn't acknowledge that either. And he walks up to Ma and
It's okay,
says,
that looks more for me than it is for him.
scouting party to the east. 12, maybe 15. Probably more coming. And she says, when we were having such a nice morning, too, I guess we'll have to delay the baseball game. Koresh, won't you please be a dear and deal with them before they bother us? And he nods, and he turns to you guys and says, "You'll be coming with me."
Am I going to be in a cart?
Am I going to be in the way?
None of you will be in the way. As for you, we'll find a way to transport you. It's important that you be a part of this.
Okay.
Whose scouting party?
The pagans to the east of here. They send a scouting party this direction. Can only guess why. We're going to see to it they have no message to deliver back.
What is what town is the closest town to the east from here? I might not know that.
In terms of a specific town, that's a fabulous question. Generally speaking, St. Louis.
East of here?
Yeah, it's more northeast, but in terms, that's what I'm trying to find you a more specific town that's right in that area.
So I think the description when we were walking northwest.
Oh, were we? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
I thought we were more west. Okay.
No, you were walking to the northwest. So hang on, I'm trying.
Oh, we're by Ironton, aren't we?
No, you're not. I actually had the location marked, but I think it actually was a little bit off map here. Straight to the east, if you were to follow that all the way out, would probably put you somewhere around St. Genevieve, maybe Festus.
And does Lee know that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. It depends on, would you know the geography well enough to recognize that as true? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, would you know specifically that that's where you are right now? You don't know. But you know that you did at least, judging by the sun and such, that your trip was at least somewhat northward. So, in terms of at least north-south, so in terms of latitude, you are closer to St. Louis than you were when you departed. In terms of east-west, in terms of your longitude, you don't know how close you are.
Okay.
But at least in terms of your latitude, you are closer to St. Louis than when you set out.
When do we leave?
Once I prepare the rest of the party. Please, enjoy your breakfast. He turns and leaves.
What about my baptism?
He stops upon hearing that. Says, are you asking that we baptize you first?
I look at Ma Carver.
She says, well, if there's time, I think that'd be an excellent idea. And he pauses. He still paused in the doorway. And he turns around and looks directly at you and says, are you asking to be baptized first?
I believe I am. Because it'll heal me, right? That's what you prayed for?
That's what I prayed for. And what I was told is that the baptism, 7 times you were to be dipped, and on the 7th, should your faith be there, the road to your healing would be made clear to me.
Okay.
If you wish to be baptized first, then perhaps I can send others in my stead to deal with this scouting party, and I will take you, all of you instead, to witness his baptism.
I look at the rest of the guys like, what do we do?
I think that sounds like a excellent idea.
We need the baptism.
He nods, and then he says, then after breakfast, we will set out immediately. And he then departs the tent.
All right. Awkward silence.
I look at, where do you go for baptism?
There's a cave whose springs have sacred water in them.
Okay.
I'll ask. I already asked this question, but now the situation's changed. Koresh, when do we leave for that?
As soon as you've eaten your breakfast.
Okay.
No reason to tarry.
None at all.
I hope we can make it there and back in a single day, perhaps 2 at most. If there is a scouting party, then I wish to be here to hear the reports.
Okay. Well, Ma, thank you for the breakfast. I do appreciate it.
Oh, of course, dear, and I do so wish I could go with you to see your baptism, Morty. But I'm not as able-bodied as I once was. but I've been there myself. It's a beautiful place.
When did you get baptized?
Oh, I was much younger, maybe about your age.
Was this before the war?
Oh, what war? There's been so many of them.
Well, the big one where society fell apart.
Goodness gracious, I wish that narrowed it down.
War is pretty bad.
The one where electricity went away.
Electricity.
The one where food stopped being delivered. The one where planes stopped flying around in the sky.
You notice that tears are starting to well in her eyes.
Lee keeps going. Chad can't think of enough things right now, but Lee keeps going. You know, it's just like when hospitals closed and when the medicine ran out. And
Jesus, Lee.
when
You're gonna
factories
have to spell
stopped
something.
and when the food stopped being delivered and when it became hard to find fresh water.
She gets up from her chair, not really quite strong enough to be doing this without assistance, especially in this emotional state. But with tears now running down her cheeks, she, as fast as an old woman can, staggers, almost runs from the main room where you're sitting to what you're presuming is her bedroom or her personal chambers off to the left of the pavilion.
I look up at Philip, look over at Joe. Look at Songbird and smile. Did she register any of this?
She watches Ma Carver leave, but does not do anything. But you notice her eyes are fixed quite firmly on Ma Carver as she leaves, but does not say or do anything.
Well, gentlemen, about finished with breakfast?
I'm not hungry anymore.
I'm gonna grab a hunk of ham and literally put it in my pocket.
I mean, it would keep for a little while at least. I mean, it's also fairly cold outside, so I'd keep for a while.
Pocket ham.
Okay.
Put that on your inventory, man. You got pocket ham. It's dog. That shit's important.
All right. Within not that long, I mean, 15, 20 minutes later, tops, Koresh has gathered outside of this pavilion a half dozen other people in addition to him.
Okay.
A bunch of horses. And he directly approaches you and says, "The child need not take this journey."
Okay. Who will be watching over her?
We'll find someone in the town who has children of their own.
And make sure they know that this is Ma Carver's relative?
If you're concerned that the child's going to be harmed, she's not going to be harmed.
That was my concern.
Not a hair on her head will be hurt between the time that you depart and the time that you return.
Okay. She's safer here.
Phil, as soon as you put her down, she bursts straight into tears. And she's holding out her arms to you and is trying to run at you.
Oh, that is going to be a fun day for that babysitter.
Yeah, you can just see in his face that he's broken by this. I kind of
She grabs onto your leg.
I kneel down. We're gonna have to travel. You're gonna stay here.
I want to go with you. I don't care if you're Mr. Bastard anymore. I want to go with you.
There's going to be other children here. You're gonna be safe here for now.
I'm not safe.
I'll be back.
She kind of steps back a few paces and then just sits on the ground, just bawling.
I call her over. Is she together?
She looks up at you. She doesn't move, but she does look up at you.
Lee gets real down.
Okay, she leans in.
Lee leans in and goes, "Why don't you ask Mr. Bastard to give you something that is very important to him, so he has to come back?"
She looks at you and says, "Give me important."
I reach into my shirt and I pull out the small dolphin. The
Okay.
card. I hand that to her.
She says, "If you don't come back, I get fishy. Silly gets fishy."
Now remember, you and
Understood.
Silly are going to have to take care of Fishy. You can't lose Fishy. You can't break Fishy.
Or Mr. Bastard
He'll
won't.
be sad because Mr. Bastard will come back because Mr. Bastard likes you. You going to be a good girl?
I'll be a good girl.
I know you can. Lee pats her on top of the head.
I feel like it. Thank you.
Is what I do.
Crush mounts up on his horse, the same one that he was riding during the prior ride, and several other individuals with armaments of various types. They saddle up as well on their horses for you guys. And Songbird takes a horse, but rides towards the back. So you guys are taken on these horses through the camp. As you're leaving, you do see people gathering towards the middle of the camp, where they have pulled up stakes on a couple of the tents and moved some things around, and have put together something of a makeshift ball diamond, and with salvage stuff. I mean, it's not too hard to get a baseball bat, including this many years after war. They preserve pretty well.
They're sticks after all.
Yeah, they are basically sticks or metal, and mitts that are made out of a variety of appropriate and bizarre materials. And they are preparing for what looks like a fairly legitimate baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea what they're gonna.
Isn't Rawlings based out of Missouri?
I know that. I don't know off the top of my head. I know at one point in time there were baseball bats. Yeah, Rollins was making baseball bats and gloves locally. I don't know if that's still the case.
Probably.
I actually watched them
Blood and
make a bat.
Sog? Wasn't America at war with China?
So hey, why not?
So I hang back in a thing and get kind of close to Songbird.
Okay.
I just, did you grow up here in the camp?
Only for the years that mattered.
They brought you here?
As you're talking to her, Wayne, one of the ists that's in your party. So you have Koresh who's leading the way, and the six armed men that are with him.
Mm-hmm.
They're sort of spaced out. They're kind of generally riding around you guys. It doesn't look terribly organized. I mean, it's not like this.
Do we have horses?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's no particular military precision to this. But one of them falls back and grabs at your coat. And it's guy looks middle-aged, salt and pepper hair, unkempt hair, unshaven, dingy clothes.
I kind of turn to him. Can I help you?
So I just found it kind of funny that she's back here playing all timid. But hey, I want to know something. Your friend up there?
Yeah.
He points at Motomar. Says, so, you gonna take over?
I would guess he's next in line.
Oh man, look, And he kind of looks around to see who's close by and says, me and a couple other families, we've been talking. Man, Ma Carver, I'm talking the real one, the real Ma Carver. She knew her shit. She had it together. And we got stuff done. And now we got this crazy bitch sister of hers and this religious nut running everything. Man, it's all wrong. It ain't like it used to be. So tell your boy when he makes his play, he's got our backing.
I'll let him know. He's a man that gets things done. That's for sure.
Oh, you're talking my language. I mean, I know you
Broken backwoods English.
I know you ain't got much stomach for this type of stuff, but don't worry, we'll fix you up so you ain't got to be a pussy forever.
I glance up towards
Lee Strings
Correct.
jacket.
I can look at it. I was like, when you back to play, you have any problem with crazy religious man not making it out?
None whatsoever, though. I'm not sure if here's the best place to make that play, because not everyone in this little outing here is going to see things that way. But, I mean, when he's really ready to make his play, he's got the backing back home. Oh, yeah.
That's good to know. Because I may not have the stomach for much of this. I got the stomach to get rid of him.
Yeah, man, do you know how much good shit there is out there, but we're spending all this time chasing after crazy stuff and listening to him quote Bible things at us and carrying on about people in the East and the South, and man, who gives a shit? There's good stuff all around us.
Has he always been here?
Oh, he's been here a long damn time.
Didn't come from the outside?
No. He's been here a long damn time. He's been here as long as anybody else, but that don't mean he ain't fucked up something right.
All this prophecy talk sounds crazy to me. I don't believe a word of it.
That's what I'm talking. His prophecy talk is the people that, oh, we got to go after these people, but not these people. Never mind that they got good shit. It's crazy and it's wrong. It ain't the way things used to be when Ma was around.
Who's he keeping you from going after?
Oh, there's farm maybe just a few hours that way we don't touch. There's old school over there we don't go near. This place is holy, that place is unholy, man. It's all ours. We own this shit, and we own it because we take it. Ma got that. And then Ma got some fucker from Cape comes up here and boom. Hits her with a rocket. She's gone.
A rocket?
I'm telling you the truth.
Is that what that hole was?
He blew it up. It was spectacular. All right?
Yeah.
But it don't get me wrong, it was spectacular. This kid, he had some balls and he had a rocket. But it still did fuck things up. And they ain't been the same ever since. And the first time that I saw him come in here, broken ass that he is, I thought, you know what? It's time to get things right. It's time to get back on track. Look, somebody rides into our camp, takes a rocket to Ma, blows her up, and we don't go straight out and fuck up Cape. Something's wrong with that.
Well, when he's done healing, things will happen.
That's precisely what I'm counting on. And if old crazy up there, if he can make him walk again, oh, that's all we need. And then it's time. It's time. Maybe not out here, but once we get back, oh, the people, it's bigger. It's bigger than you think.
This is about to get better.
Crazy thing is, ask Carla, because ostensibly there was one somewhere back in that utility room somewhere, like an old one, like at schools, like they have like bolted to the wall. She keeps telling me there's one in there, and I can't find it.
Then I'm going to excuse myself and go use my pocket knife to sharpen this.
Yeah, or ask Carla where that sharpener is.
Right.
Is it bolted back there somewhere?
Yeah, like I said, it's like straight out of like an old elementary school. Like, and I don't have any idea where. She keeps telling me there's one on the wall there.
My dad had one bolted
To hell if I can find it.
to a table right inside his bedroom door.
So, okay. You guys ride on deeper into the Mark Twain National Forest,
I'd like to do something with Joe before we get to the location.
Then
But Joe is
So I'm not as a player being pouty. Joe literally has no contribution to provide at this point.
well, and you're sharpening a pencil, so yeah, carry on.
and that's totally
not just that. I mean, out of character, I'm afraid if I do something, I'll do something drastic.
Okay.
So I'm trying to keep
As
my
you,
pressure cooker
Wayne,
lid.
ask Carl where that is, because I'm actually curious where it is myself.
I think I saw it.
Is it in the servants' quarters?
I wouldn't know.
Right, I know.
Oh no, this worked just fine. Yeah, we're good.
It's just
So as Phil's talking to this guy, do I notice them like looking at me or anything like that?
Oh yeah.
So when the guy finishes talking to Phil and like works his way back up, I'm watching him and I say, "Keep looking at me like that. I think you like me too much."
Boy, I like you more than I can tell you. You're the best damn thing that's happened to the Carvers in at least a year.
I don't know what that means, but
Oh, where is it?
right around the corner. You know the shelves on the wall
Yeah.
above the first shelf.
So
Actually, on the wall.
so it's like in the middle of the shelves, like
Yeah, like the first shelf goes over further than the second one.
yeah.
It's in that gap.
Okay, I'll have to.
Scintillating podcasting.
It is, yeah, it is. So it's on the left. So you turn the corner, it's on the left.
You go in, turn the right,
Yeah.
turn the right again,
Okay.
and it's on the right.
Okay, so it's all right. Yeah, it's exciting stuff. But hey, pencils need to be sharpened. That is
That's
just
right.
part of a role playing game. All right, so
yeah, I don't know what that means, but
you don't know what that means. What do you think it means?
you're looking at me like some of the girls at the cat house look at me.
Like he has money.
I ain't got no money, boy.
He usually goes 2 for 1.
And then I laughed.
You got a mouth on you. Look at that, man. You know how to bust some balls.
Yeah.
This new Ma Carver, she ain't called me a fag once.
Well, I can call you that every day if you want.
As long as you got the balls to back it up. Now you call me that, and I may have to slap you around a little. But if you can slap back.
Joe's like, God damn it.
Go on, what does Joe do?
I used to game with a guy like that. Where anyway, that's we can save that for a next episode.
Can you at least roll your social to see if you can make him
Let me stick my hand up the hole in back so I can.
at least give him a save against your social skills.
Right.
Okay, so go on.
No, Lee is just like, you know what? I was following this conversation. Now I'm not following the conversation. What do we? It's like a gay thing or not a gay thing?
Don't worry about it, Lee. It's okay.
I know. It's way over my head. Anyway, he pulls his horse back a little bit and lines up with Joe, who's being pouty and standoffish. And goes, Joe,
Yes, Lee.
I wrote some things down. I want you to try and read them because it is time for today's lesson. See how far you get with that.
Your handwriting is atrocious. I remember that word.
Yes.
I couldn't read it or spell it, but I think that second word is my name,
Yes.
but that's not an O, that's a C.
Well, I'm on horseback, Joe. I do the best I can.
Seriously. Okay, I'm on horseback too, look at that.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, you're font of a handwriting.
some of us.
I really do need to scan my notes in so people can see it. So it says C.
Sound it out.
Joe Rune.
Run. R-un. R-U-N.
Why is it run and not rune?
Because rune has an E at the end.
Why?
That's more advanced stuff. We'll get to that later.
C. Joe Run. Run Joe. What's that thing after my name?
It's a comma.
Why?
Well, we're not into punctuation yet, but we'll get there.
All right. C. Joe Run. Run Joe Run.
Now try this one.
C. Joe.
Sound out. It's a little harder than run, but I. What's this letter?
E.
No, this one.
D.
R.
Ride.
D.
E. Righty.
Ride.
But there's an E.
Yeah, that's gonna be a whole day of me explaining why we use E's and don't.
So, okay. So C. Joe Ride. Ride Joe Ride, comma.
Now, read that one.
Oh, I know that. That's a metal.
No.
C. Joe Lead.
In this case, it's the context that's different.
The what?
Context.
No, there's a comma right there.
No, context is the situation that it describes kind of changes the word a bit. So it looks like lead,
Like, I gotcha.
but in this case, it's something else. Because you can't lead, but since you're the captain,
I can lead.
yes.
C. Joe Lead. Lead Joe Lead.
Yes.
But most sentences that Amelie shows me aren't crooked like this.
Well, I'm on horseback, and I don't want to waste all my paper.
Oh, okay. So, run, ride, lead.
Yes.
Okay.
As in, don't mope. Because we're in a very dangerous place right now. And we need a leader.
You're right. And in this situation,
Context.
in this context, we have a leader,
Mm-hmm.
and that is Motamar.
Motamar is severely injured, slightly mentally deranged, and is trying to probably figure some stuff out about himself. Motamar's got a lot going on right now.
So, and I don't want to use what did she say? A cliche metaphor. But I don't know these waters. I don't know how to navigate them. Motamar does. He knows these people. He knows who they are, why they do what they do. I don't know that. All I know is that I'm terrified that we're never going to leave this place. We're never going to leave these people.
And it's okay to be scared. We're all scared. But we need you to guide us through these uncharted waters. Now, don't get me wrong. We need Motamar, too, to do his part. And he is. But like I said, Motamar's got a lot on his plate right now. He's figuring some stuff out about himself, what he wants and what he needs.
Yeah, but Lee, I don't know what to do.
that has nothing to do with leadership. It's just being able to do the right thing at the right time.
Well,
you got Philip, you got me, you got Modamar. We can give you advice and plans and stuff, but it's captain of the ship, man. You make the decision, and we go. And what I'm trying to say here, Lee...
Do you smell toast?
What you were trying to say is...
What I was trying to say, Joe, is we're going to need some decisive action here. And Philip's got his thing going on with that girl. Modamar's got his thing going on with his past. I always have 11 different things going on, and I really suck at leadership because people hate me. But I just don't want you to... Well, there's a lot of reasons I don't want you to fall into this guilt thing you do.
All right.
I don't want you to do it because our lives are on the line. But I don't want you to do it because it eats you up. And you hurt yourself inside. You make plays. You make decisions. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But you're a good person. We back you.
All right. Well, in that case, and I pull the pocket ham out, I saw you in that bath last night. You need this way more than I do. And I hand him the ham. And I'm like, eat up.
I kind of start nibbling at it. When he doesn't look, I put it in my pocket.
So, being a fall day, the weather has cleared from where it was in your journey. The sun is filtering down through the trees, which by this point have mostly lost their leaves. And your group makes a fair amount of noise, even when you're not talking, simply because it's something in the neighborhood of a dozen-ish horses traveling through the fall leaves, which have formed several inches thick of crumbling blanket of red and orange and brown and black that's over the ground. It's been dry lately, which is something you're thankful for, because had it been raining throughout your journey, this would have been notably more miserable. But the trees, however, do not provide you a whole lot of protection against the wind, and when it gusts, it is fairly biting. But you guys in your new clothes, plus whatever old clothes you carried over, you have more than enough to keep yourself warm as your group plods on. A little bit after midday, so you guess maybe 1 or 2 o'clock if you actually had a clock, you reach a stream that cuts through the forest, or this portion of the forest. And Koresh stops his horse there and turns and says, "We stop here for a few minutes, rest, eat, relieve yourselves, do what you must do, and then we will carry on. Doctor, work your medicines. Work them in any way you please, for soon they will be unnecessary." And Koresh gets down from his horse, and he walks upstream a bit, away from everyone else. Like, not completely secluded, but he's far enough away that he's somewhat alone. I mean, the rest of the people can see him, but and the rest of the group dismounts. I'm assuming you guys do too, unless you tell me otherwise.
No, definitely do.
Yep, I'm kind of waiting to see what they all do, but I also, I'm assuming Casey is with us as well?
Yes, Casey's with you.
Okay. So I watch to see what he's doing and how he's interacting.
You notice that Casey hops off his horse, and you see him reach into one of the pockets on his pants and he takes out a device that's about the size of a large cell phone. It's not a cell phone. It's not a communications device of any type. But takes it out, and you see a green light appear on it, and then he puts it back into his pocket. And then he goes over to the stream and tastes the water.
I come up next to him and get a drink of water. What's that you have in your pocket there?
Not there.
He kind of smiles at you and says, "Power cell." Might not want to go repeating that.
I wouldn't. What do you think they would do if Koresh didn't make it back?
Well, I guess it depends on the story you had, or did you have something in particular in mind? Also, several of them got guns, we don't.
True.
How do you intend to deal with him not making it back before we need a story on why he didn't make it back?
I'm just exploring ideas, and you're a good person to bounce ideas off of. Some of them want to see Motomar take over. The older man with the big bushy beard was telling me that there's quite a few that aren't happy with the current Maw Carver and really aren't happy with Koresh, and they want to see him make a move and take over.
Does Motomar know this?
Not yet. I haven't had a chance to get him alone because they've been carrying him.
It's a hell of a heavy weight,
It is.
especially because with a group like this, he has two choices. Give them what they want and carry that burden, or don't give them what they want and be prepared to try and keep control of them somehow anyway, despite that.
What I want is to get back to the town, get that little girl, get away from these people, and get her back to Herman. And I don't know the road to do that, but I know I want that man dead. I kind of nod towards wherever Koresh is at.
It's good to have goals.
Those are my goals.
You want the little girl back, you want that guy dead.
Yep.
Those are both achievable goals. You know what, Phil? There's one thing you got going for you. Realistic goals. If you come over me here telling me you wanted to try and get the Carver clan on the path of right thinking people,
No, that ain't gonna happen.
I'd have patted you on the back and told you it's a really nice idea.
Lee leans over to Joe and says, "I think we should get the Carver clan out the path."
But you want to go back to a little girl and you want to beat somebody to death. That's really achievable. I mean, those are the kinds of things that you can get done in a lifetime.
And I think you're the kind of man that can help me figure out how to do that.
Oh, certainly with one of the two. Getting back to town, your horse is going to do a better job beating a man to death. Well, there's one thing they didn't take from me because they didn't understand what it is.
Your sense of
I'll get that
love.
with it.
Yes.
A warm sense of pride and fulfillment.
His belief in
Humanity.
humanity. His hope for tomorrow.
Okay. Is it a weapon? I can look at. What am I saying? You are a weapon.
He pats the pack that he's carrying. They didn't take the rig.
That's good to know. There's only 7 of them with us right now, but I don't know what happens if we go back to town without them.
Well, I don't know what you're prepared to do, but if they're going to take us into a cave, that means close quarters. Those guns won't be as dangerous there as they are out here.
I was originally thinking of trying to slit his throat in sleep, but you got a point.
Well, that takes care of one. Even if the guy with the beard over there is on our side, that's still 5 more you got to think about. Well, and we don't know what the girl back there does.
True.
Don't know how Songbird fits into this.
I need to talk to Motomar still. Do you think he can be healed?
I don't know.
I don't believe this mumbo jumbo stuff, but if that water was something special, maybe it came from where we're going.
I don't know.
Because if he's healed,
There's a
he's
lot
a
of
fighter.
There's a lot of things that I don't understand about what's occurring right now.
Just imagine how I feel.
So you make Motomar the leader of this plan. Does that mean his days of sailing are over?
It's a good question.
Does he want his days of sailing to be over?
Making him leader, short-term goal, not a long-term one. Leader doesn't have to stay around.
Joe, what are you doing during this?
Well, we left Dr. Marshall behind, correct?
No, she's with you.
She's with you? All right. Well, then, presumably she is near Motomar.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm going to saunter my horse back to there and, basically, brush up next to them. And I ask Motomar how he's doing.
You got any more of that pocket meat? I saw you give some to Lee.
I'll shout at Lee. Lee, did you eat all that ham?
What do you think?
All right, can we have it? Motomar's hungry.
Oh, thank God. Come over and hand you this. Now I gotta erase it.
It's salty.
Yeah, it is.
That's her passing the pocket ham. Yeah. I've got a movie called Pass the Pocket Ham, but it's a totally different thing. You holding up?
Yeah, I'm okay. You think Koresh is going to try and drown me?
I don't no. I don't think he is going to try to drown you.
Oh.
I think that he's going to put you underwater,
Uh-huh.
and I can pull you back out,
Okay.
and then I think he'll do it 6 more times based on what he said.
But if I get healed, then Ma Carver wants me to take over, right?
Well, not being one to destroy anyone's faith in the Lord above, I don't think you're going to get healed. Just kind of think about what... Now, wait, is any of his guys standing around? Or are we alone?
No, they are. I mean, they're around. It's not hard to get away from them.
And then he can just go,
yeah, well, and I'll also allow you to talk in hushed voices.
right.
Though for the sake of the mic, I'd appreciate it if you didn't. So that's why I'm not having them, what? That's why they're not running. Because, yeah, I'm just assuming you're discussing this discreetly, but for the sake of the microphones and people can hear the game, you're speaking in normal or raised voices. So
I mean, think about what he said.
Yeah.
Now, what you heard was he's going to baptize you and heal you. What he said was that if you have the faith and if the Lord so sees fit, then this is what's called couching it in certain terms. So he did not say, you will be healed by these means. So it's kind of a lot of outs for him.
So he's what Pops would call a bullshit man.
Yes.
Bullshit man. He's a good one.
Yes.
So how do you explain what he did to Motomar's wound with the water?
I don't. I can't.
So,
But do we have to go immediately to magic water?
Okay, if it's not magic water, what is it?
Again, I don't know.
So basically, we have the evidence of magic water and your doubt.
No, we do not have the proof of magic water.
I saw it with my own
I
eyes.
pull my pants down. It's right there.
There's nothing magic.
Dr. Marshall says, Monomar, please, that's just going to make it hurt more.
All right, let's
I don't
ask.
feel a thing, Doc.
Let's ask. So, Dr. Marshall, what do you think healed him? The wounds are closed.
But he isn't actually healed. I mean, okay, so let's say...
The man's flesh knitted together.
You can touch it if you want.
Let me ask you guys this. God is only going to do things in half measures because he can't stand up.
So, how did it work?
That's not my area of expertise.
And how do we know that these holy waters that we're going to in this cavern won't have the same effect, the same healing property? Maybe there wasn't enough water. Maybe if he's submerged in this water, it will heal him.
Maybe he got what was in the canteen from this bleed.
Everyone gives me a perception check, and Joe, you may use your eyesight.
Excellent.
Oh wait. I rolled 3 by accident.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it's this. I can... So that plus 7.
You know what? We'll go and count that. I'll count it as a critical.
16 for me.
So 17 plus what's your perception?
7.
Okay.
It's pretty damn good.
Lee, there's something that you catch that anyone could see. Okay, here's the part you all see. Because you're trying to keep an awareness of where the ists are, if nothing else, to make sure that they don't overhear, treachery or whatever. Koresh has gone, as I said, a little bit up the stream where he's by himself. He has taken the gas mask off, and you saw him once before without the gas mask on, and I described how part of his face was scarred, and that he had a cloth that was like draped over that side of his face, or was like tied over that side of his face. He has also taken that cloth off. Now, you guys, because he's upstream, what you see is his right side, not his left side. All right. However, Lee, you just happen to have that eagle eye moment where you catch a reflection in the water just right. And you see in the reflection in the water the left side of his face. On the left side of his face, there are a series of vertical scar marks, and the left eye appears to be gone. All right, so that you don't see, or it's dark there. So either the eye's gone, or it's been blinded, or something. You're not sure if you catch it. What you do catch is he's sitting there staring into the water, lost in this reverie. I mean, it's like he's dead to the world. And his left hand is on those vertical scars, and you notice that the scars line up perfectly with the width and the positioning of his own fingers.
Are the scars slices, or are they like jagged rips?
It's hard to say because they're old.
Mm-hmm.
They appear to have healed over as much as something like that can, but as best as you can tell from what you're seeing, you think with his own fingernails, this guy dug out part of his own head. Mm-hmm. Like, not head. I mean, I guess, but
all the important bits.
Yeah, like it's not his brain, but like his
eye.
Like, this is his eye and part of the cheek and such, that he actually clawed the left side of his own face.
So, Lee kind of, as he's trying to defend this, he kind of trails off and he's squinting at Koresh. So, listen, guys, I think you have a lot of hope and you have a lot of want. You want this to happen. And I'm not saying we don't go up there. I'm not saying we don't get you baptized, all that sort of good stuff. And hey, if I'm wrong, I'd love it. I'd love it if you danced right into a cat house when we get back.
They have cat houses?
Not here. But, see, that's why we gotta get out. But, just don't be disappointed when Koresh starts saying stuff like, well, you don't have enough faith, or you have evil in you, or...
So it'll be my fault that he fails.
If it fails, I'd be willing to bet that it'll be your fault.
That's bullshit.
Bullshit, man. Or who knows? Maybe God just, healed you a little bit so you have more faith.
Yeah.
Upstream crushes. He seems to have snapped out of it. He's put the cloth back on and is now reseating the gas mask. And then stands himself upright and calls out to everyone. We mount up and continue. We reach there before nightfall. And he takes his horse and climbs back up onto it. Waits long enough for everyone else to retake their horses. And then begins moving again.
Head on out.
All right, you guys continue. Is there anything else that you need to do or want to do throughout the remainder of the trip? It's a couple more hours, but...
Nope.
Okay. Then you guys, several hours later, reach a point where you notice that you are following waters. It's a stream, and it's not a heavy stream, it's just a trickle. But you are following these waters.
I do have a quick question. The map we saw with the X,
Yes.
is this the location of the X?
Fabulous question. Give me an intellect check. Or smarts check. Do you have anything that would justify it? Hercules not going to get it
No.
for. All right. Give me a straight intellect check.
5, 6, 17.
If not, it's close. You're in the ballpark. Just by going, you're not sure. You don't have the map in front of you.
Right.
But just going by general directions, and I already set the sunny day, so you can see where the sun is, and you're educated enough to know the sun's going to be displaced to the south, both because of where you are on the globe, and also because it's a colder month and whatever. You're kind of making some estimates about compass direction and such, and you think you were at least headed that direction. If you're not right on it, you're somewhere near it.
I roll up to Philip and I go, because you saw the map, right? You were. I don't think Wayne was there, but did Philip see the map?
I know one other person looked at it.
I
but
believe
think it was
that was
Joe.
me.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Joe
Okay,
who looked
so
at
I
it.
believe that was me.
I roll up to Joe. I go, hey, X marks the spot.
Joe, you may give me the same smarts check, and I will give you River Captain because it's navigational in nature.
I love it. Alrighty. And you said smarts. That's 13.
You accepted Wayne dice.
Well, I'm not going to bullet it, so.
So, okay.
I go, X marks the spot. Wink, wink.
All you can agree, yeah, you know, okay, yeah, we're generally, you're even less sure. Vaguely that compass direction, but that's really about as much as you got.
Well, you think the cave was the X?
I think where we're going to is what was marked on the map.
Okay.
When you guys, okay, I'm sorry.
No, I was wondering, well, obviously they know how to get here. Why did they...
What they what?
Well, why they feel the need to mark it off on a map?
Was it a hand-drawn map, or was it like old printed out type map?
It was an old printed map. It was not like somebody just took like a map of the area from a local Captain D's and put an X on it. No, it was much more technical than that.
I go. Lee's about to say something. Then he closes his eyes and starts rubbing his forehead. Lee is going to try to remember the map. He's going to try and picture it in his mind, but he's not looking for the X or directions or see anything about it. He's trying to remember details about, like, Is this a pre-war map? Is it
an old park ranger map that she said, "Hey, I'm gonna mark an X on this map, and I want you boys to go out there and
you remember
find it."
Something about bats and something called white nose.
Yeah.
You remember there was a map that was in there that looked technical in nature. You remember that she was a park ranger. There were some technical articles, and then there was a picture of her in a hospital bed. Mm-hmm. And all those things were clustered together in one segment of the notebook.
I start, as Lee closes his eyes and puts his hand on his head, and he just starts rattling everything you just set off. Just like, boom, boom, I remember this, I remember this, I remember this, I remember this. And that's all I got.
Ooh. Well, what's white nose?
Mm-hmm.
There was a newspaper clipping about bats, like the one with her picture. I think was about bats.
Lee says that, from what I can barely remember, there was some disease or something on the bats.
Dr. Marshall, do you know what white nose is?
Would she know?
Cocaine.
Would she know what white nose is?
I do cocaine.
She thinks for a minute and she ponders that. She rolled incredibly well. I was like, nah, there's no way she's gonna know. And then she annihilated the roll. So she ponders that for a moment. And then,
that was my thesis paper.
And then says, "You're not gonna catch it if that's what you're worried about."
Well, all right. So I'm just trying to piece this together. So Lee and I think that the cave we're going to was marked on a map that we saw back in Ma Carver's pavilion.
Okay.
And we also think that the current Ma Carver, before she was Ma Carver, she was somebody else who worked in this park before the war.
Okay.
And we believe that cave was a cave that she worked in, and she worked with bats and bats that had something called white nose.
That would make sense if she was a park ranger.
So then, and then I'm going to get a little space coiny, but what if there's something in that cave that gives that water its healing properties that also cause the white nose?
It's not going to be white nose. White nose it's a disease that it doesn't occur in humans. It's a disease that kills bat populations. I don't even know why I remember this. You sit around enough places, you read enough random things. But once upon a time, way before your time, before my time, there was a disease called white nose that ran through local bat populations, and it mattered to people because the bats controlled populations of other things. They ate enormous amounts of mosquitoes, for example, which can spread diseases that can affect people. But you're not in any danger of catching white nose, nor is white nose going to heal him of anything.
But maybe there's something in the cave, in the rock, that affected the water and the bats, but in different ways.
Well, if you're going to get into some kind of... You said space coining, so if we're talking about space rocks in there that are oozing out some kind of...
Space ooze?
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine why park rangers would be turning...
You said Ma Carver was in a hospital bed?
Yes.
Do you remember why she was in the hospital?
There's no context on that in there.
It's just a picture of her in a hospital bed.
Yes.
What did her injuries look like?
She did not appear injured.
Okay.
What if...
Like, at least in the picture, there were no outward signs. Like, she didn't look like she'd been burned or anything like that. You didn't see any signs of injury.
What if she got hurt and then, what's the word, coincidence? What if she was studying the bats and white nose and she got hurt and then she drank the water and it saved her?
Except there's a problem with that theory. There's no such thing as magic water.
Well, that's interesting because I saw it.
No. So did I. But just because we don't know the answer does not mean that we start reaching for the most ridiculous answer.
Okay, so how's this for ridiculous? Koresh poured water on Modamar's leg and we all saw his skin heal.
Yes.
So where did that water come from?
Is it even water?
Probably this cave. I think that's a logical assumption.
I do not think that's a logical assumption. Because nature does not produce water that is magic. Because magic doesn't exist.
So how do you explain what happened with Modamar's leg?
Do I have to? And I don't mean to be flip about that. I don't know what happened to his leg. But until I see some clues or evidence that spell it out more clearly, I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't want to invent things in my mind because Modamar's my friend and I care about him and I want him to be healed. I want him to be healed and I do care about him and he is my friend, but I just... Magic water? No, I can't. I'm sorry.
There's something in the water.
Yeah, probably bat poop.
Well, Koresh said, because I asked him after he poured it on me, I said, can I drink that? He said no.
Right. I mean...
Why would you not be able to drink water?
Well, let me ask you guys this. You don't know anything about GCs. You never met Golden Crescent. He never explained anything to you. Philip never got that book. And you're walking along in the woods. And Golden Crescent comes out from behind a tree, mask and all. And he has a syringe, and he says, I have a magic syringe filled with a magic liquid that I can make your horses do what you tell them to do. All I have to do is inject it into their eye. And you let them. And you inject it, and he injects it into their eye, and it happens. It happens. It happens just like we saw it back in St. Louis. And then he leaves. And suddenly magic liquid exists in the world. But let's go back to ourselves. We know that we did not have magical liquid injected into our horse's eyes. It was something else, something we don't necessarily understand, but something that was explained to us about being pre-war and technology and...
So, regardless of how you define it, science or magic, what you describe occurring...
No, magic...
Occurred.
No, magic is a supernatural force that exists outside the bounds of reality that I don't believe exists.
So
science is a methodology of looking at the world.
So what is science before we understand what it actually is?
Science is a method of asking questions and then testing those questions and then repeating those questions to get consistent answers.
But in both scenarios, Golden Crescent gave those horses some concoction, some solution that allows them to be what they are now.
Right. And if we go to that cave and there's some pre-war factory in there that's making water that's filled with some sort of disease that's actually a beneficial disease that knits broken limbs, then great. I want to see that man walk into a cat house on 2-for-1 Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah.
But both of our theories can exist at the same time.
But
it can be a natural occurring thing.
Here's the problem with your theory. People like Koresh can use that to manipulate you. That's the problem with magical thinking, is that it fills in holes in your mind that into the story that you don't understand. People like him lie, or maybe they're lying to themselves, to manipulate people who need hope and are desperate and don't know and don't understand.
We've arrived. You guys have gone downhill just a little bit. No, you have literally gone to lower topography just a little bit. The trees cluster together, and there's a place where the ground is broken up and the rocks jut up. The bedrock juts up from beneath the earth. And you can see that there's dirt growing on it, grass and leaves and trees growing up there, and then trees growing down below it. It's the sort of thing that if you've not been looking for or specifically following this water, you might have simply just gone right past and never even noticed. This is not some big, huge cave mouth. The entrance to the cave, it's no more than maybe about 4 or 5 feet wide. You think you guys can squeeze in there, but this is something that you're not sure you could even go into abreast. You don't know that the horses would make it in there. And there is water that is coming out slowly. So it's not like this rush of water, but there's water that is coming out slowly from the mouth of the cave. And you can hear from inside of the cave the echoing sound of water in there. I don't know about the people at home, but caves and cave tourism in Missouri is fairly common. So, at least for the people at the table, I'm assuming you know the noise I'm talking about.
Been in a couple caves.
Yeah, well, water sounds like in a cave.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's this kind of trickling, echoing noise. And Kresh gets down from his horse, and the other Is and Songbird, they do as well. And Kresh strikes a lantern, which he takes into the cave. And the group of us that are with you, 2 of them help take Motomar off his horse, or off the
Palanquin.
The palanquin, yeah, has been getting carried by.
Okay.
And they carry you into this cave. And I'll assume that the rest of you guys follow. Now, as you're walking in, you notice a couple of things outside of what I just described.
Who has light and who doesn't?
As of right now, Kresh is the only one you've seen produce a lantern. You do see Songbird digging through some of her bags that are on her horse. You're not sure what she's after. She might also have a light.
I lean over to, well, who's ever next to me. I kind of elbow him. I say, whoever controls the light in this situation has advantage.
As you guys are well, Motomar has no choice. He's been carried inside, and Dr. Marshall's going with him. As you are passing through the front of it, you do see a couple things. You can see outside of the cave, there are 2 spots where there is broken up concrete that has been grown through by plant roots and other stuff. And sticking up out of the ground is, well, the perforated metal that signs are attached to. There's a kind of the U shape with the perforations through the... You see 2 of those. There are no signs on them. You have no idea what signs used to be there, but there's no signs on either of them. And once you get close to the mouth of the cave, as you step on the leaves, you hear something crinkling in a way that doesn't sound like the leaves. And kicking through the leaves, while it is heavily rotted out, there is some kind of plastic sheeting that is underneath the leaves here.
Like big?
You wouldn't know without trying to pull it up.
I don't have any way of seeing. I have no way of producing light.
No, this is outside.
Oh, outside?
This is outside the cave.
Do I have a minute?
No, I mean, nobody's beating
And
you up.
They got to get him through the cleft and down, so it's going to take a bit for that. They just can't like toss him through. I kind of cleared some out, and I try to investigate some of this.
It's brightly colored. It's bright orange, and as you
New or old?
Oh, it's old. It's definitely pre-war, and it's in places molded. It's rotted. It's not as decomposed as it could be, but it's still not in great shape. But as you kind of follow this along, these are fairly sizable sheets. Just guessing, if they were in proper condition, they easily could have covered the entrance to this cave. But they're bright colored. They're not meant to hide it.
Right. Interesting. Probably something to do with the bats, or warning people off or away, or.
All right, so inside the cave, the entrance of the cave, so right beyond the spot where it splits open, you have to walk back a little bit, maybe 20 feet of that, before it opens up into a larger area where there's it's fairly cramped. Let's say that the area that you're in is maybe about 15 feet in diameter, not perfectly circle, but it's about 15 feet in diameter. And some portion of that is taken up by a pool of water, which then from here runs out of the cave and forms the stream that you have been following. Now, the room itself does not appear to go anywhere else in the cave by virtue of, and incidentally, the lantern that Koresh has set down is sufficient to light the entire room. But there is, or would have been, at one point, another way of getting deeper into the cave. However, someone has actually poured, and this, once again, certainly pre-war, poured some kind of concrete and cut a little bit into the rock to create a place where they mounted a metal doorway, and there is a heavy metal door that is there sealing whatever would be deeper in the cave. And the water is flowing through a break in the rocks that's a few feet away from that door.
No windows on the door, no...
No.
I go up to the door.
Okay.
Try and open it.
It is locked. It's aged. It's rusted. It's heavy
Search
duty.
for traps.
It's heavy duty. I don't know if you have the ability to attempt to do anything to the door.
I can glare at it.
Well, by do anything, I meant like if you can like pick locks or something weird like that, or attempt to jimmy it, or...
Well, I grab is the lock, I mean, is it a loose lock, or is it like a lock that's, you stick a key in, like a door?
It's like part of the doorknob. You like
okay.
the doorknob, so I call it doorknob, it's more like a lever that's on the door. Yeah. And it's got a keyhole that's actually, or key that would go into the
I just run my hands across the fingers, I kind of look at it, is the lock and the door, it's all pre-war?
Yes.
Wow. And it is locked.
It is locked.
Okay.
Now, I mean, once again, you could try and force the door or something and see how sturdy it still is.
Unless they've started.
Right now, they're setting Motomar down. They have laid out a blanket on the rock, and they have put you on it, and they allow Dr. Marshall to give you one last shot for the pain, and then they begin removing most of your clothing. They don't strip you naked, but they remove most of your clothing.
I yell casually over my shoulder to Koresh. I go, "Hey, Koresh, what's behind here?"
He turns and he pauses, like he's not immediately dismissing you, like and you don't see the expression because of that gas mask he's always wearing. But he pauses, he turns, looks at it, and pauses for a moment. Murmurs something. I'll give you a perception check to hear it.
2 dice this time. Let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15.
He mutters, "I don't recall." But it's not quite out loud.
Right, he's like saying it to himself.
Yeah, like he's saying it to himself. And then simply turns back to Motomar and says, We will dip you in the water as if washing you in the Jordan 7 times over. On the 7th time, we will wait until the night falls. Once the sun has gone, if you feel the pain no more, you have been healed.
Sounds good. I don't wear skivvies, so if they take my pants off, I'm completely
Okay, then you are butt-ass naked.
Guess it's time for business.
How did this become a holy place?
How does any place become a holy place? By the ordination of the Almighty.
What?
Yes, but usually there's a story behind it, a event to let someone know that it's a holy place. What is the story behind this one? How did you know it was holy?
By the effects that it produces. You will know soon enough.
Magic water. Yeah. I'm wrong.
He will emerge from these waters, and if God wills it, he will be changed.
I'm ready.
All right, he comes over and he picks you up under the shoulders, and someone else, one of the others, picks you up by kind of like bracing your ankles on their waist and supporting you under the thighs, and they take you over to this pool of water, and it is cold as all MF, and they dip you into it once and raise you up out of it, and you catch your breath. Some of the waters leak back in your nose. You might be coughing a little bit.
They're not doing it right. You got to do the nose thing.
Yeah, he's terrible. Maybe he's not Baptist.
Yeah.
And so
He's a dunkist.
yeah, and so they and then they wait a moment and then do that a total of 7 times, and then they take you back and they lay you on the blanket and they wrap the blanket around you. At this point, you're shivering from the cold, and they lay you back on the blanket and they wrap it around you to dry you.
I didn't pee. I almost peed, but I didn't.
Dr. Marshall says, "Do you need to go pee?"
I can't feel anything right now.
Okay. This is probably too small of an area to build a fire. Let's just his clothes. Let's just put his clothes on top of him, and
Lee comes over and starts putting clothes and Lee's big coat and lays it over you.
Dan, you said there's a crack and the water's coming through the crack?
yes.
Okay. I'm going to, first I'll take off my big trench coat and lay it over him. And then I want to go and kind of examine that crack. The water is it trickling out or pouring out?
It's not coming fast, but it does appear to be. If the question you're asking is what's the water pressure like on the other side, there is a little bit of an opening there, so it's not completely filling the crack that it's coming through. Okay. So you believe that it's coming through at its full pressure. So it's not. You don't think like the other side's fully flooded or something.
All right, and then I'm going to. I try to put my back between Koresh and them because I don't know if they're watching me or not.
Okay.
I reach out and let a little bit of the water get on my hands.
Okay.
And then I taste it.
And you die.
It has sort of a sedimentary taste to it. There's no remarkable flavor to it apart from that. I said that it has a little bit of a taste of sediment to it. Actually, Wayne, I'm going to give you this automatically because of we're going to tie this all the way back to game 1. The flavor reminds you of spring water.
Nice.
Okay. So it's definitely water.
Expensive water.
Yeah, this is that expensive water you paid for. Now you're getting it for free, courtesy of the S.
Oh man, Pop would be so mad.
The S just handing out the expensive water.
All right.
I go back and kind of join them, and I step next to Lee.
Lee's over by the door.
Okay, so I'll go by the door. And
No, I'm sorry. He's by Motomar because he put the clothes on. Yeah.
Wherever Lee is, that's where I go.
Okay.
So, if it was the water that did it,
It wasn't.
I think it was... Out of character, you mentioned that you guys gave him a shot of something first?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think it was the shot that did it. Whatever was in the shot. But if it was the water, this is just plain water. This is really good tasting water.
Is it the expensive water?
It's the fancy water.
Does it taste exactly like the fancy water?
Pretty close.
Where did the folks come from? The people you bought the water from, where did they say it was from?
They did.
The Merrimack Springs.
Yeah. Merrimack Springs.
This would not be this spring.
And there's springs all over the place.
Yeah. I thought maybe we'd find some sort of pre-war factory or something here. Dr. Marshall talked about nanites. I thought maybe we'd find something there, but no. It was the shot.
I'm sorry.
All right, I'll say, once I kind of stop shivering, I'll go, help me up.
I attempt to help him out.
It's painful and hurts like a bitch.
Okay. The same pain, or is it, has it changed at all?
You notice? Yes and no. The pain feels pretty similar, but you do notice when you start to stand up that you feel a bit of vertigo. You're a little wobbly. And maybe it's the cold, but you feel a slight numbness to your body. Could be the cold.
Okay. All right, I'll just try and steady myself as best I can, put my hand on Lee, and then I'll look over at Koresh.
Lee's like,
I'll say, I think it's working.
Pray that it does.
I'm not going to do any dancing.
Lie down. Be patient.
I'll go ahead and lay back down then.
What are the other ists doing at
Cover
this point?
myself up with Lee's jacket.
wear your pants. Oh, it's your jacket, man.
4 of them are in here.
Yeah, it is cold in here.
4 of them are in here, but staying quiet.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them, including the one that Wayne was talking to, are outside cracking jokes, kind of jacking around.
Okay.
I kind of lean close to Notamar and whisper, some of them want you to take over. The older man, the big, scraggly white beard, said that when the time comes, if you move to take over, take out Koresh, that there are people that'll back you.
He can't even stand up.
I kind of look, no. But I thought he deserved to know that people are looking at him like that.
These are dangerous thoughts.
I'm not suggesting he does anything about it. I thought he deserved to know people are looking at him like that. That means other people may be looking at him as a threat.
Casey walks in. He has a blanket hung over his own shoulders and kind of wrapped around him, and has a stack of blankets in his hand. And says, looks like you've got one fan outside. A songbird. You'd be cold. Brought some blankets for you.
Much obliged.
And he one by one, he puts the other blankets over you to kind of help dry and insulate you.
Okay.
Hey, Casey, you think you can open that door? I mean, don't knock yourself out, but
He walks over to it, jiggles the handle. It doesn't move, and he shakes his head and says, I'm not sure I'd want to intrude anyway.
Lee goes up to Koresh. Is Koresh doing anything? He's like lighting candles and burning it.
You notice that his head is bowed and he's kind of leaning on the mace. Might be praying. I mean, he's not doing so loud if he is.
Lee walks up to him. Is Koresh?
He raises his head.
Koresh is really tall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
But he's leaning over, so he might like be on level with Lee.
Yeah, I mean, his head's down.
Lee reaches out and puts his hand where the scars are, but obviously he has the mask on.
Yeah.
And he just touches the top of them, and he runs his hand down the mask. What did you do to yourself?
If one of your eyes causes you to sin, gouge it out, for it is better to go through life blinded than to sin.
Is that why you ripped your eye out?
In case you were questioning the veracity of my faith, he pulls back the sleeve on his left arm, and while he apparently didn't finish the task, and you have no idea what the story is there, there are deep marks on his left forearm.
Suicidal marks?
No, like he was trying to cut one of his hands off.
But you kill people. Isn't that murder? I mean, I do not judge. It is a hard life out here. I can't possibly know what it's like, but the others of your flock, there's some real scum here. I'm sure you have punishments. It's really none of my business. What's going on here, Koresh?
We wait until nightfall.
Do you have a key?
Do I have a key?
Do you have a key? Any
To-
key?
You're asking about the door.
Yes.
No, I don't have a key to it.
Do you know what's behind it?
I don't remember.
Have you been on the other side of the door?
I think so.
Has Ma Carver been there? And Lee stopped. What was her real name?
Schwartz.
Jacqueline Schultz.
Schultz.
Has Jacqueline been behind the door?
He pauses for a moment. Jacqueline
Schultz.
behind the door. Yes. I think that's where we met. That's where we met.
What was the story behind your meeting?
She needed God, and I brought God to her. And now I bring it to her grandnephew.
Why don't we take him behind the door?
Because I can't open it.
I'm sure we could get it open.
Let us see first if he is worthy. If he is worthy, then it will be his call to make, because he will be the new heir to the name Carver.
Okay.
Motomar, as the time drags by, and it does drag a bit because it's fairly boring,
Right.
And especially in your physical discomfort, your awareness of time magnifies. And so it's, when you're cold or you have a bad headache or whatever, I mean, time slows down. So, I mean, It does drag by. But as the time drags by and the sun starts to sink a bit, you can see that they've built a campfire outside. And they bring you some food. And at one point, Songbird brings you in some heated up tea to help keep you warm. But when you go to take the tea, she warns you, she hands you the cup. She's like, be careful because it's very hot. And as you go to take it, you notice that first you don't feel the heat.
Okay.
Even though your face is over the steam, you don't feel the heat. And then you notice you don't feel the cup. And it suddenly hits you all at once. You don't feel anything.
So then
it's like your entire body is like Novocaine or lidocaine or whatever.
Right. So I'll do the numb hand thing where I just kind of go slap my own face. It's kind of like,
yeah, you don't feel anything.
I'd say, Phil, I don't feel anything.
What do you mean you don't feel anything? I come over and
He's all
poke
dead
him.
inside.
I think I'm dead inside.
He's a nihilist, Phil.
Dr. Marshall?
She comes over. She's like, wait, you don't feel anything. You mean you don't feel anything different?
No, touch me. And I open my eye, and I poke my own eyeball.
She grabs your hand. She's like, stop that.
I can't feel it.
Okay, right. Let's not use your eyeball to test that. She takes out one of the syringes that she's been using. There's nothing in it. She just pokes you with it. She says, do you feel that?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. That's... And as they're having this conversation, Crush comes over and says, he's been found holy. Doctor, get out your tools. I will now give proof. And
I know I only tasted it, but do I feel any different?
actually, yes. Your tongue and mouth are starting to go numb.
Okay.
I'm not drinking it.
She looks up. She's like, "What tools? What do you mean?" And he says, "Take out your blades. Take out your instruments of surgery, and do what a physician does." She gives him this very defiant look.
I look at Dr. Marshall. I'm going numb where I tasted the water.
She now looks at you.
There's something in the water.
I'm not performing any procedure.
Don't give me that magic water look.
I'm not performing a procedure on any of these people until I know what the hell's going on here. And one of the IS levels a dead man's gun at her. And Crush repeats, do what a physician does.
I look at her and I say, it's okay. It's okay.
You do understand,
It's okay, doctor. You can do it.
Motomar, it's not me I'm worried about. I'm going to be fine.
So am I.
Well, she motions her sword gun. That aside, I'm going to be fine.
If they shoot you, then none of us will be fine.
Okay. She pulls back some of the blankets, and she very gently touches your hip right by where it was shot. She says, do you feel anything?
The first thing I do is she touches my hip near my groin. I look right at Lee and I go, oh no.
She grabs your chin and turns your head back to look at her and says, we're not doing that. Do you feel any pain?
No.
She starts grabbing around the outside of your hip, like near where the joint is and such. And she pauses for a moment, then feels again, and then pauses and gives a very, confused look. and goes into her doctor's bag, and she takes out a series of surgical tools, and she says, okay, everyone clear back, move the lantern over here. And they bring the lantern over. She pours out a little bit of this, you would recognize, isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah. She's pouring one out for her homies. And
yeah, she chugs a little bit of it, goes blind, no big deal. No, she takes a bit of alcohol disinfectant and wipes down that portion of your hip, and then takes out a scalpel and pauses, like thinks twice about it, and then makes an incision. And she's doing what she can. A lot of the blood's going on to the blankets that are around you, but she's doing what she can to try and control it. And as she's working in there, she reaches in and she pulls out a shard of bone, and then reaches in again and pulls out another shard of bone. And she repeats this a couple times over and starts pulling out these chips and pieces of bone. And this procedure takes a little while. But as it carries on, once she hits, a point where she's satisfied, there's an enormous amount of blood. But she then takes out sutures and she stitches you back up. And she starts feeling that area and moving the leg. And she looks up at the group, just this total look of bewilderment on her face. And she's like, he has a regenerated hip.
I looked down at where I had been shot like a few games ago.
Yes.
I don't know how long ago that was in game time at this point. Where
about a week and
where
a
I
half.
had the graze.
Yeah, about a week and a half.
I just double checked to see, do I still have...
Oh, no, you're quite injured still. Okay. Also, he's butt naked. The other thing you notice is... Oh, no. Actually...
He does have a micro penis.
He does have a micro penis, but
it's... gigantic nuts.
It's a gigantic
dude. I mean, like, rum.
It just looks like an owl. Just this enormous thing with this tiny little beak.
And who stuck googly eyes on it?
Whoever did's brilliant.
But he was shot 3 times by the Rat Man. All 3 bullet wounds are gone. Wayne, where Philip
you only shot him once.
Was shot, your injuries are still there.
I go over to some of the water. I spread the water on my chest where it was.
You do notice as you do that, it's not your whole body, but you do notice, like when you reach into the water, you don't feel the coldness of it.
All right, as she's stitching me up and she's saying that, I'm half paying attention, and I'm actually gathering the shards of bone and holding them in my hand.
She's too confused to stop you, and she just stands up and takes a step or 2 back, and just with her hands held out like, I don't have any idea, and backs away from Motamar. And
I'll look at Koresh. And I'll just kind of, out of the side of my...
You can stand up.
If you attempt to stand up, yes, you can stand.
All right, yeah, I stand up.
I mean, it's hard because your entire body is numb.
Right.
But there is nothing... there is nothing physiologically stopping you, or the basic muscular skeletal structure necessary to stand up is all there.
Okay. All right, I'll stand up, and then I'll just kind of look around, and I'll look at Koresh, and I'll say, God is great.
Nice. Indeed, give thanks that God has healed you, that he has extended his grace to you this day.
And then I look over at Lee, and I go, magic fucking water.
I look over Lee. I'm not saying it's magic, because I don't believe in magic. But there's something in that water.
Motamar, do you mind if we attempt to open that door?
I look over at Koresh, like, because I wasn't privy to the conversation you guys had, so I just look over like, is that okay?
When you look at him, he makes a sort of bow to you. I mean, not like on his knees, but
Right.
just sort of like a respectful kind of bend at the waist.
All right, then I look over at Joe and shrug, like, what do you want to do?
If we don't go through the door, it'll be magic water forever. If we go through the door, we might actually get answers.
I want to know what's on the other side of that door too.
I look back at Koresh. You don't have any objection?
It's not his place to object.
He's correct.
That wasn't my question.
I object to all of you but him even being alive.
Yeah. Fuck it. Open the door.
Okay, I look up at him. Feelings mutual.
I like you, but I like everybody.
I will not obstruct you.
Okay.
How are we going to open it? Do we have a crowbar?
I want to examine the door. And you said it was rusted in areas?
Yes.
I want to examine it. I'm looking for weaknesses that I think with proper leverage and Casey's strength, maybe we can pop something off, like a hinge or something.
Or, well, I was gonna say, Lee, interject. You weren't saying that.
No.
Motomar, you have followers now who have a variety of skills. Perhaps one of them can bypass a lock.
So I want to examine the door and see if there's
Okay.
structural weaknesses.
While you're examining the door,
Ropes and horses.
Or lockpicks.
the guy with the beard that you were talking to, he leans in and is like, it worked? It worked! Look at that! Son of a bitch up on his feet. Faith in God, praise be. Clap our hands. Coming on in. You know what? I think this calls for a drink.
We're not done yet, brother.
Well,
We have one more step to
I'm
do.
tapping the cask.
You do that. Brother, does anyone here know how to pick a lock?
Pick a lock. Usually not necessary. We usually just smash it down. Why pick a door? Pick a door you want to keep.
Maybe we want to keep this one. Just curious. I mean, smash is phase 2. Phase 1 is pick.
No one here.
Phase 2 it is.
Yeah.
Philip,
So, Ted.
stop messing with that old rusted thing. You don't even know what the hell you're doing. Come on out of here, man. Have a drink with us.
I want to see what's on the other side of this door first.
God damn it, Philip. My apologies. He says that to Koresh. God bless us all. Philip, can't you break bread with me just for a moment?
Yeah. I follow him out.
He hands you a wooden cup. And he takes a drink. Says, I don't know my Bible the way that Mr. Koresh over there does. But I do know something about a lot of religions. They all seem to have stories about the best of the best of the best, that they go off somewhere by themselves, maybe with a group of followers, and when their mission's done, they just ascend on into heaven.
I like the way you're thinking.
You come back with a walk-in son of the Carvers? And I'm not saying that a prophet's mission is done, but I'm saying we could kill his ass in the cave and nobody'd be the wiser as long as we didn't bury the body there.
What about the rest of them in there?
That one's loyal, so you got him and 3 more.
Okay.
I lean over to Joe in the cave. I watch these two go out. I'm like, Joe,
Mm-hmm.
I will sing from the rooftops that this is magic fucking water if you tell me you have a gun.
Do any of the ones he pointed at have guns?
Of the ones he pointed at, you know that Koresh has a shotgun, and two of the three have guns.
Okay.
Well, what if we split the difference and I get you one?
I'll give you guys. I need to pee. I'll give you guys a moment to converse.
The last person on this beautiful green earth, destroyed and ravaged as it is me that you want to give a gun to. But we need a gun because shooting is going to start very soon.
So I'll step over to Monomar, lean over towards you.
Mm.
Are you armed?
I've got my knife.
Okay.
And
This guy's micropenis.
my micropenis and my cutlass.
Well, your cutlass is a beast. Okay. Out of character, mechanically, 3d6. Those are baller, and you guys can fucking rag on me all you want about how it was stupid. But where's a better weapon in the party?
Yeah. Like looking at I have a collapsible baton that's a 1d6 plus 3. I have a knife that's a 2d6. Freaking 3d6 in this system?
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's amazing. Cutlasses rule.
My shotgun does 46, but that's cool.
But you gotta hit with it first.
I know.
I can't.
I can, but, you know.
All right. So
Where's the shotgun at?
I think Koresh has it shoved up his ass.
Oh yeah. So
My point is that you don't have it.
Right. That is the main concern right now.
so they'll follow what I say.
Are you sharpening your pencil again with the knife?
Yeah.
When there's a pencil sharpener in the other room?
But
I forgot about that part.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that. Can I tell them to do what you say?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Oh, how do I say that?
You say that Lee is like looking around. You say, Joe is your hand, and that he is going to enact your rule. And we need to make it to where...
So his words are my words.
Yes.
Okay.
Like Koresh is Mock Harbor's.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Because I think there's going to be a palace coup here. And I'm not exactly sure if Joe's or Philip's working something. They're probably going to kill Koresh, which means there's going to be some people on Koresh's side, which means they're going to shoot back. Koresh is going to go down happy. We're in a cave. Some people are going to get cut apart. We maybe need to either defend ourselves or defuse the situation.
I look at Joe.
So where's Philip at? Philip's outside the cave?
Philip's outside the cave. Okay, so Philip, you can re-enter the cave at any point you like.
Yeah, I come back into the cave and kind of walk over to the group. I look over. I lean in towards you. The man with the gray beard.
Yeah, the one that kept looking at me.
Yep. He says he's got 3 more that are on your side, and they like the idea of Koresh not coming back to town. That we come back with you completely healed.
Joe.
Who's on our side? Who else?
I covertly try to point out the 4 that we've got.
It's 2 others.
2 others.
So of the 6, there are 3 that would be with you total. So Beard Dude, who you knock on the name of. I do a name for him. But Beard Dude plus 2 more. And then there are 3 plus Koresh that would, and you don't know what Songbird would do.
Okay. And Casey has his armor.
It takes time to put on. And it's really obvious when you put it on.
Is he still covered in a blanket?
Yep.
Does he still have a blanket draped over one of his arms?
Yep.
Yeah, we're all right. All right.
His armor helps, like, it boosts his strength too, right?
Yeah.
That's part of its primary purpose.
So if he doesn't already have it on, we can tell him to put it on and pull that door open, right?
Yes. But before that, there's going to be shooting. My vote is to prevent shooting. I mean, I know we hate Koresh, and we need to make advantage for ourselves. Completely down with that. Shooting happens, let's say we miraculously survive, nothing happens to us. When we get back into town, there are factions, and we don't understand what the factions are. We don't understand what the power plays are. We might come into town, they celebrate us, and then murder us in our sleep. I mean, hey, I'm all for palace intrigue. Don't get me wrong here.
Why do we need to go back?
We need to go back because of Leanne.
And if there's a fight, the people on the winning side, which is hopefully us, are going to want to go back. Which means that if we decide not to go back and just tabling Leanne for a moment, that means that we would have to kill the people who are on Koresh's side, kill Koresh, and then when we're done with that, we're going to have to kill the people who are on our side. It's going to be a lot of killing.
I want to go back, get Leanne, and then find a way to get the hell out of there.
I think it would be better to kind of keep the status quo for now and not rile things up, and then use this newfound influence to work some plays in the camp and then get out with Leanne. Imagine Leanne in the middle of this camp and we come back and it's civil war.
Fair point. That said, I vote we run a sword through that bastard's heart.
Noted.
He is manipulating everything. He's manipulating Mark Harbour. He's the one that's responsible for what happened on that farm. I'm looking directly in Joe and looking in his eyes. He's the man that ordered what happened on that farm. He's the reason those people are dead. He's the reason my daughter doesn't have a mother.
Right. I draw my cutlass and I step to Koresh.
I'm right at his side.
I jump behind a stalagmite.
What time is it? All right, good. It's 10. I think we've got time to kill this guy and let me get out of here to
Just
reasonable
like
time.
that.
Yeah.
Let's roll some D20s and take on this encounter.
I was going to try to be more subtle with the cutlass, but I pulled on his heartstrings.
Wonder what this guy's loot drop is.
Okay.
Incompetence, subterfuge.
Incompetence. Combat.
Hold on,
Dan, I go full defense.
The funny thing was trying to figure out
sort of
the
a thing
door.
like that in there.
My incompetence is mechanics. I would have never figured out the door. Yeah. My struggle is guns.
Great.
Good thing I'm using a cutlass.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so I'm going to note who does and does not have a firearm and what's about to happen. Okay, everyone give me an initiative check, which is going to be speed plus your 2d6.
Is this my incompetence?
13.
No. Okay, so Joe has 13.
12.
Phil has, did you say 12?
Yep.
And then Lee has 8. Motomar,
That is a 14.
14.
Lee is, in all seriousness, getting behind cover.
That's what I would expect.
Yeah.
Casey has a...
Joe and Philip attack Korish and his loyalists.
You sadist.
The plus, I've got some of the strange water all over me. When I get shot, I might not feel it, depending where they hit me at.
She might die, but you
Yeah.
won't feel it, so that'll be good. What is death without pain, though? You're so proud of
I am.
it. You disgust me. But not for that reason. I love puns.
And his
Okay.
loyalists.
Royalists. Yep.
All right. Initiative's not going to necessarily be kind. first up is the dude with the beard.
Oh, jeez. He's got a beard, guys. Chuck Norris over
Freaking
here.
Duck Dynasty is going to be like, put a finger in that butt.
All right.
I'm sorry, that's Kevin Spacey.
Sounds just like him.
Alrighty. So first up is one of your loyal
Say it.
carvers.
The Motomar faction. The cohorts of Motomar.
The cohort of Mort.
The Moists, which would be moist.
All right.
That's officially his faction's name now.
I don't think this guy can really miss. He certainly didn't.
Jesus.
Okay. So
He does have a beard.
he's just shooting at a base of 6. The guy's within normal range. There's nothing particularly providing cover. I'll give him a 3 for having partial cover because of the cavern entrance, which is open, but it's still a bit chaotic to shoot through. So I'll give a penalty there. So that's a straight 9. So he got that plus 6 up. So that's a crit. And that's a damage on that. On a... Alright. Crush does have armor. Nine and 6 is 15. Crush takes that to the right leg.
What's with your leg dice?
I don't have any idea, but yeah, that's not going to be enough to stop that. The armor is there. Chest could have actually barely taken that. Right leg can't. So a crossbow bolt just hisses down the corridor. As soon as you walk up and draw that cutlass, you hear twang, and a crossbow bolt
Crossbows, swords.
goes down and pegs Koresh hard in the right leg, and Koresh buckles, and you're not sure what it hit, but it buckles him.
Wait a minute. Why did I do that? Because my struggle is exploitable, and I was exploited by Mr. Phillip.
Oh yeah, he played you.
All right,
He's going
now
to be so disappointed.
this is where it gets ugly. 3 of them.
I'm gonna fill Lee out like an application. That's what I'm gonna do. You're the new cabin boy. We get home, I'm gonna build stocks, and I'm just gonna have you in the town
skinny,
square,
they'll just
just
slip out.
blown out like Goatsy.
Okay,
People are like, "Why is that pink blanket warded?" And
Well,
I'm like,
hold on.
"That's not a blanket."
Joe, before you get too proud, you might want to try and survive.
Shoot him in the face.
All right, so he's injured, right? Which I know does not have an actual necessary penalty to
No,
his
it does.
attack. Okay.
It does.
All right. Well, I have a bullet, and so I would like to preemptively have my bullet prepared to deflect, dodge, or avoid harm.
Okay, so, all right. Let me give you a couple options of what you can do. All right. First of all, you can buy off some of the damage after he shoots you.
Oh, so Koresh has got a shotgun. Got it. All right.
All right.
I'm not standing by him.
You may also, oh no, that would be 3 bullets. So,
I have
yeah, you can, I wouldn't bother re-rolling this 2 hit, because with a shotgun at this range, it's pretty much a guaranteed hit. So, yeah, I'd save it to buy off damage from...
I love it. Let's do this.
Okay. First of all, barrel 1.
You did to me what I did to Motomar.
Yeah.
You're awful.
Oh, wait, I was planning on sneaking up and trying to stab it, but
No, I say no. I want to just go ahead and say on record now, nobody made anyone do this.
Touche.
I would like to go on record and say Lee actively was trying to prevent this entire situation.
All right, so base of 6.
Philip was actively causing it.
Yep.
He has 2 goals.
Yes, he does. Lee has a goal.
I mean, it's pretty much outside of a critical failure. He can't miss.
Well, that's not a critical failure.
Nope. All right. Do you have any armor?
I've got my heavy coat. I got my clothes. I got my heavy coat.
He has a sense of confidence.
I do have a sense of confidence. Look, I knew what I was getting into.
Okay. If you were being attacked by London fog, this would be a thing.
Yeah.
What does that
Torso. You got shot in each nipple.
This is not going to end well.
Well, I got my bullet to avoid damage, and however mechanically this functions.
Okay, first one, you get 3d6 instead of 4.
And then
Hey, don't pull the punch, Dan.
Okay.
no, the second one.
I want these motherfuckers to bleed.
All right.
That's a 14 and a 12.
Yeah, those both of which are enough to deal a 10-point wound. Barrel 1 blows out one side of his chest. Barrel 2 blows out the other. His heart and lungs are just so much spray on the people behind him. And crashes on the floor, crumpled, fallen, his barrel smoking.
Oh, this is yours.
Do you want to hear my backup character idea so that you can take that character?
Well, for the remainder of this, okay, I want to pause right here to ask something. All right, I have. Hold on.
No. I'm not mad. I'm not upset at all. I'm just upset.
Okay, I want to pause right here to ask something, which is, Brodor, I always believe in. I'm willing to make the bargain of, if a character goes down, to me the story is more important than.
Oh, I hear John just yelling.
I don't care. John can yell all he wants. An impotent rage from Jefferson City.
Right.
If he wants to come up here and do something about it, then he needs to move back up here and do something about it.
True.
But I am willing to offer you the trade of your character is really messed up, but alive.
So,
Or do you want me to go with the death?
I have to go with it.
Okay.
As much as I love Joe, as much as I'm invested in Joe, I took my action foolishly, and that is the way the dice fell.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, I think backing away from the death, I think that it lessens the actual potential threat and lethality of the world, and that going forward, it's going to break immersion for me and potentially impact the immersion of others.
Okay.
I think that it was my action, and I gotta go, and Joe died trying to be a hero in a world where heroes aren't real.
Okay.
Nor is Matt Water.
Joe, or no longer Joe, Brodor, let me ask you a question, which is obviously you can have some time to think about who you want your back character to be, whether it's going to be an already existent NPC or somebody new. And I actually have some specific options I can give you. However, there are some people present right now, because I don't want you to be sitting here bored.
Well, I want to play Casey.
But though I was going to ask is do you want to play Casey, or do you want to go with me to another room and play the Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity Surprise?
I like the idea of you playing Casey, actually.
I
think
do
you and
too.
I are going to have to, collaborate offline.
I mean, I'm not saying that I want to play Casey long term.
Okay.
But I'm saying certainly that I would like to, at least for the purposes of this combat scenario, throw down some dice as Casey.
Okay.
Don't get Casey killed if you're not going to play him.
Well, Casey's armored.
Yeah.
All right, that takes care of. So Koresh's turn is done. Next dude up. There's 2 left to go. One who has a gun, one does not. All right, next dude up.
Right, because I mean, at this point, so many things change. Like, does the boat matter?
Well, we don't know who else is going to survive this fight.
That means Amelie's the ranking officer.
That's right.
Oh, she'd already taken that on herself.
I'm sure.
I don't know if you remember that conversation. She'd already declared she was the ranking officer because she was the only one on the boat with an officer's rank. Okay, so here we go. So, Wayne, all right. Carboneer. All right, Wayne, do you have any armor?
I'll bury you in the same grave.
I like the T and I like the T and the P and the K and I'm just saying.
So 1 point of armor.
You're all gonna die. I shot you too.
All right, you have bullets. There are 3d6 coming at you. Do you want to buy off a die?
Yes.
Okay, then give me a bullet. All right, so now it's 2d6. Location is left arm.
Ugh.
So worst case scenario is you're not dead. Okay, you said you have a coat, right?
Yep.
Okay, you're lucky because a 10-point wound is a destroying wound. You took it down to a 9. Your left arm is F up, but it is not destroyed.
Joe's gonna learn to.
Is that a level 9 wound?
Yes, that is a level 9 wound to the left arm. You're lucky you have a full-blown doctor with you because you do have at least a decent chance of saving the arm.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario is you're going to lose. You might lose use of that arm, but
Good.
you're not dead.
Once this is all over, Lee's gonna be fucking pissed at Philip.
Okay.
Unless he dies.
I never got to apologize to Motomar.
All right, Casey.
That, like, as a player, I regret that.
Casey. Coming at you. All right. A guy is attempting to engage you in melee combat. Take 3d6. So I'm going to give you. So he got. Hang on, I don't know what he rolled. Okay. So you get 3d6. Pick the best two. This is what you do for a living.
9.
Okay. And that goes way the fuck off the charts because of the fact that he is wearing the full-blown stuff.
Right.
You have control of the situation.
Excellent.
What do you wish to do to him? The armor that you are wearing, of course, has the mechanical hands. It has incredible strength. And it also does have 2 concealed, 1-shot shotguns.
Well, I mean, in the cacophony that has to be, you know, the echoing of the shotgun blast from Koresh inside this small cavern, I figure in for a penny, in for a pound, and let's blast this piece of shit back.
Okay, so you are going to... All right, I mean, you've got control, so this happens in physical combat. I want you to explain to me how this occurs. Guy comes at you with a spear.
Right.
Attempts to stab you with a spear. What happens then?
So I'm going to duck and shoulder inside his reach, right? Because I've got that big armored shoulder, right? So I'm going to run it along the spear, right? So shoulder it up so the spear goes up at the angle and I just get whacked by the haft and not by the tip itself.
Okay.
And then I'm assuming that the guns are on the other arm.
Under the arm.
So then I'm going to literally stick palm face, right? I'm going to palm his face with that big metal hand and then just shoot him in the abdomen.
Okay, and I will let you call that shot because you easily rolled that. 46 damage on the shotgun, and one of the 2 shotguns will be empty.
Oh, poo-poo. That was friggin' Wayne. Man, come on. That's crap.
I mean,
It's a 9.
That's still not pretty.
Yeah, that's a 9. It's not a kill shot.
It's not a kill shot, but damn is he in bad. He is in bad shape. So you take that shotgun, you blast out his chest. I mean, not literally blast it out, but you shred his chest. And he is not in good shape. You don't know that if he would even be remaining standing, except you are holding him. So his participation in this combat, you can consider done. So we'll go ahead and I'm just going to scratch him off because he's out. All right. So now at 14, now we get to Motomar.
All right, so I'm standing there, and Joe moves forward, and all of a sudden his guts get splattered all over me.
No, not really his guts.
His lungs.
His lungs, his heart, his aorta.
Yeah.
All right. So as he's falling, I jump Koresh.
He's on the ground.
Yeah.
Crush is on the ground, I mean. So you're leaping on top of him.
On top of him? I'm gonna. I don't know how many. I'm in one action just pulling his mask off,
Okay.
and I'm gonna stick my finger right in his good eye.
Holy shit. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of an all before breakfast. So, all
Wait
right.
till you round 2 to see what he does with the hole.
He is naked. That is a business.
And he is an ist.
That is true.
So, all right. So, first off, what is your skill? Is the woodland scouting thing?
Oh, scouting, yeah.
Scout-
That's my
okay.
competence.
Okay. I don't know that I'm going to count that under that because this really. All right. So it's not Crush's primary thing either. So you guys are going to
See
roll
what happens when you forget your notes?
a 2d6, and then you may choose between. No, actually, I'll give you your choice. You may pick the best between your strength or build or body or whatever that's called, or your agility.
Body. And I can bullet for an extra die.
You can if you want. I'll tell you right now, you're not going to need to.
If I do, and I get like, what do I need to get over to like?
You need to get 6 up on what you're attempting to do, which right now is a base of 6.
Yes.
Save that for the post-game commentary.
15 because of the cold shot to the head. You're actually not going to need that much. I was going to give him a few other bonuses, but he's so screwed up. So yeah, it's maybe the complexity of task. I'm going to say in 18.
18. So I would need a 10 because my body's an 8.
So you're going to bullet that?
I'll bullet it.
Okay. So,
I don't think I would do as good a job.
I like how Dan's played him, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
I got a
take it
13,
Yeah.
so
You know what I
total
mean?
of 21.
so you didn't get a 13. You got a 21.
Right.
Okay.
I rolled a 13.
You pull his mask off and you push his finger. Are you stopping the eye or going into the brain?
Well, why would you stop?
I need to know. I mean,
Malice.
I'll tell you what.
because
I'll use my thumb.
okay, so you're
So
stopping at the eye.
I stop with the
Roll.
eye, and then with my index finger goes into the other socket, and I lift him up.
Okay. Holy crap!
Well, I mean,
It's hardcore.
that's how you go bowling.
That is hardcore.
Yeah, I thought the plucking out his eye was bad enough. But man, okay. So you also, I don't know how to write this down. I'll just put you blind him. You blind him 12 pound.
Yeah.
Go out
And
and describe this.
I'm just holding, and because Phil, are you still going for him?
Yeah.
I'm just kind of setting him up on a tee for you.
Okay, so now at 14, also another guy without a gun on your side goes. He comes charging up with it's like a makeshift spear. He comes charging up at the carbineer that's... No, he's actually going to go after the other guy that hasn't fired yet. He's smart like that. So he does successfully charge him. Does not critically... I don't know. How do you guys want to deal with that? This is a quirk of this particular die, which I don't think is on the other die. Oh, no, it is. Okay, so the location die I'm using has one that says target.
Attacker's choice.
That's what I'm going to ask, but if I do it now, it's going to be for everybody,
Mine-
including the bad guy.
Attacker's choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Attacker's choice. All right, then he is going to attempt to drive this basically through the about through the solar plexus. Which he does do and pins the guy screaming and bleeding profusely back to the wall.
Don't you love solemn religious ceremonies?
Just- they're going to take an off. We're going to pause in a moment between rounds to take an offering. And the children are going to put on a little cantata.
We've got some missionaries going out to Africa. We're going to take an offering for them.
Okay, so he's been stabbed through the chest, specifically in a very bad place, and is now dying. Okay, so
We're all dying, Dan.
not the way this guy is.
Some just bastard.
All right, he is attempting.
Real quick.
He is going to attempt, as he's pinned to the wall, to draw a pistol and to shoot the guy that just stabbed him. He's going to be at a shit ton of penalties to do this, but he is going to attempt it. And I am not any way, shape, or form sold on that attempt. So it's kind of deafening, but a bullet brings out and doesn't hit anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'd survived, I'd have tinnitus.
Moth. So they have all gone. No, I missed one guy on your side who still has not gone yet. One of your friendly is.
They all had better.
I told you, you guys got jacked on. The only one who got decent initiative was Modamar. The Is were all 13 and higher.
Yeah, Dan did tell you. And so did Lee.
So, all right. The Is that you have with you, he is also a Carboneer. That's not a critical hit, but that is a hit. So he shoots the remaining other Is. Well, that's going to be a hell of a hit to something. Fuck his right leg, too. So, okay. That guy is shot, and he crumples as well, drops to the ground.
He's going to open up a crutches store. Or maybe like a...
You should. Like crutches and braces and more. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving down the line. Philip, you were at a 12. You were the next up to go on your side.
Okay, so Modamar's holding him steady for me.
Dude, he's your oyster.
I basically just want to walk up and repeatedly stab him with my knife.
Roll 2d6 and don't wane it.
Oh, no.
Okay, that didn't wane it. I mean, he's being held still. Where are you stabbing him? I mean, chest, I assume, or...
Yeah, because where he's holding him there, it'd be basically walking up and...
You are repeatedly stabbing him. The blood is, with each stab of the knife, the blood is splattering on you. You don't feel it. You're not sure if you're going to ever notice it or not until you look in something reflective, but his blood is just, I mean, he's beyond dead.
And Philip is screaming as he's stabbing him.
Continuing through your guys' stuff, Phil just went. Casey, it is now your turn. You have the guy that you have shot once in the chest. He's so messed up. I mean, honestly, even just I'd say a good punch. Because
despite the absolute, just trite clichéedness of it, I crush his skull with the big, heavy left hand. I just pop his grape.
I mean, 3d6 and don't roll me 3 1s.
How about 6? 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, that's great. So yeah, that's great. His skull crushes them. I mean, it's the mechanical hand you're holding him by can crush things much stronger than a human skull. So yeah, that's that for that. Casey at a 10. Hey Lee, what's up? There's one Is left who is
full defense.
Okay. Back to the top of the round. The guy with the beard is reloading his crossbow. The dude with his right leg shot out is
so notey. My character's dead, and I'm still taking notes.
The right dude with this.
I wish you would have taken note of what he had said.
Okay.
But no, and that's why you're dead.
Yeah. It's really Lee's fault.
It is.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
All right, Wayne, he's
persuasive enough.
Shooting at you. He's in pain. He's going to have some penalties here. Okay. So base is 6.
It was all a fall of the dice, man. I could have gone first and killed him and been a hero.
Plus 3, so
it's gamble I took and I lost.
Is a 9 because of the kerfuffle that you're involved in. Plus 3 because you just ran is a 12.
Told you. Backup character.
He's injured, so he's going to need a 15. He's got a plus 6 on this. So 7 plus 6 is a 13. Shot misses you.
Okay.
Okay, that's it for their side. So next up is the guy at 14 on your side with the spear, who turns to him now. and easily, because he's down and not moving, stabs him for 8 points in the chest. So now, in addition to having his right leg shot out, he is now has a spear stabbed through one of his lungs. So he's in once again.
Is he our guy or their guy?
Their guy. So far, Joe's dead. Everyone else on your side's fine. No, Philip's not. Okay, so next up on your side is he's gone. No, he's not gone. You want dude on your side who has a gun is next up. Then Phil. Did I skip?
Sure,
I skipped Motomar. I'm sorry, Motomar.
All right, so I'll yell for the doc because I can see Phil's arm's messed up.
Yes.
And Joe's laying there on the ground. I mean, I've seen some weird shit today, so I'm just going to grab Joe's body and throw it in the water.
Okay, you throw what's left of Joe's body into the water.
I go, come on, Joe!
And then out comes Ra's al Ghul. Joe,
That's the most.
I am the demon.
That's the most on-spectrum thing that Motomar's ever done. I mean, there's not enough left for me to do a proper Blood Eagle.
All right, so you throw him in the water. Okay. There is the other rest on your side's not gone yet, right? The one with the gun,
Right.
Okay, then it's his turn. He is going to attempt to simply shoot the guy, which he did plus. That's 12 to the torso. That's it for him. Okay, the shooting stops, and the guy outside with the crossbow now reloaded, he makes one of those high-pitched calls, sounds celebratory, and he walks in just grinning from ear to ear and seeing you. He's like, I knew that you were gonna get shit back to a good place.
All right. No, I thought you were rolling like he was going to shoot me or something.
No. He's not attacking you. I'm rolling the check for Dr. Marshall Dr. Marshall is attempting to do emergency treatments to Phil's arm. That's what I'm rolling for.
Yeah, his savage arm.
Not this.
We can always numb it in the water.
No, you're not being shot by somebody.
So I'll say to Beardy,
He's actually going to head around.
I'm going to text my wife real quick.
Okay.
Say, I died.
All right. So she is currently trying to bandage your arm. She's cursing a lot and saying the things you're catching between the curses is this is not the right place to be doing this.
Right.
But she is bandaging up your arm and trying to at least stop the bleeding and do what she can to. Fortunately, you're numb when the isopropyl hits. So you don't feel it.
Yeah.
Actually, she would probably be isopropyl. She'd probably actually try to irrigate the wound, not disinfect. But, okay. Point being, she's attempting to save your left arm.
I'm just staring over at what's left of Joe's body.
It's
in the
a
water
bloody,
the whole time.
it's bloody pieces. And from the waist up, it's just bloody pieces and whatnot floating and discoloring the water. And Songbird sort of is watching. She's watching from outside, very timidly looking around the corner at all of this.
Lee is he's sitting on the edge of the pool, I guess, and he's just looking at Joe, and he just has this real, blank stare and looking at what's left of him, and he's just kind of, he's doing the thing where it's like he's just really trying not to cry and is just going to break loose at any moment.
Casey, I'm going to just I'll let you role play this,
Sure.
but just to explain Casey a little bit, he has a trained numbness. He's seen too many people he cares about die. It's not that he doesn't feel it or can't feel it.
Right.
He's very good at repressing. He has a trained stoicism because he has spent his whole life watching people he cares about die for what to him are detached and senseless reasons.
So Motomar's kneeling next to the water, like with his hand on Joe's body. Just kind of like every once in a while, kind of giving him a little bit of a push to see if he's moving at all. And then look over at Beard Guy. I say, what's your name?
Call me Yak.
Don't talk about it.
All right, I say, Yak, gather up everybody's shit. We're going to be leaving soon.
Yes, sir. He goes over and he starts packing up everybody's stuff and enlists Songbird's help.
And then I look over at Lee and I say, he's not coming back.
No, he's not.
Casey, by the way, when earlier you were asked to test the door, you faked not being able to open it. With that armor, you absolutely can, or you're pretty sure you can tear the thing off its hinges.
So Casey walks over to the door and, using that big left arm with that big metallic hand, pulls the door
Those
open.
both arms. Both your right and left arm are like
so
that.
I will pull the door open.
Yeah, with this high-pitched noise of screeching metal, he grabs the door, the handle bends the door a little bit before popping loose, and then with the hinges already somewhat rusted, they give way, and this metal door just bangs into the room.
After a few moments, Lee stands up, looks at Joe, looks over at Philip, and then he turns around and he walks out of the cave.
After he's done being bandaged, very kind of numbly when he says, he has tears coming down his cheeks. Philip walks into the room.
All right.
Where the door's been ripped off.
Philip, inside the room, there are rusted out, shut off. There's a generator in there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely pre-war, rusted out, shut off. There's some. There's a locker. There are skeletons of dead bats all over the floor. There is a workstation. By workstation, I don't mean a computer. Though there is a computer on it. The computer appears to be aged beyond use. Might be salvageable if you were an expert, but there's an old computer on it. And there is a drawer on that same desk. And there is a wastebasket that is sitting next to the desk.
Is there a crack in the wall anywhere where the...
Yes, you can see and hear from here, the cave does go back farther. You have no idea how far this goes back.
What I was looking for is the other side of where the water's coming from.
Yes, that is on this side. There is a lower part of this room that the water's running through, probably is eroded through, and is following into the next room.
Okay, but nothing obvious like tanks of anything or...
No, not in
sitting
here.
in it. Okay. I kind of look around in it.
But of course, there's also two things you haven't opened, the drawer and the locker.
I'll open both.
Okay, opening the locker, there are two hazmat suits in there. And there's also a clipboard that has a bunch of dated logs on it. It just appears to be initials and then like date and time in, date and time out. You have no idea the significance of this is. Opening the desk drawer, you don't think this would be in half so good a shape, if not for the fact that it's been sitting in a cave in a drawer for who knows how long. But you find in there a somewhat rotted but still partially legible handwritten journal. Flipping through it, it is technical terms. I'll give you one of those I let people roll and everything rolls.
Okay.
But I'll tell you right now, this is you're rolling because I let people roll and everything roll. So 10
smarts?
plus what's your smarts?
17. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, 17.
Okay. You don't know exactly what any of this means, but you are following. There is something about bats, and there's a whole lot of specific, like Linnaean, like the Latin sort of names of species and life forms that none of which ring any bells with you.
I'm gonna just put it in my backpack for now.
Might mean something to Dr. Marshall, but it doesn't mean anything to you.
I'm gonna go ahead that.
No magical syringes that can
No.
heal Joe.
No.
From death?
Yeah.
The Ark of the Covenant is sitting in the water.
Okay, that.
Just you can sit in this water. Just don't open it.
We just keep failing our perception check.
Yeah, it's been there the whole time.
The whole time, yeah.
If anyone had said, "I'm looking for the Ark of the Covenant," I would have been like, "There it is."
Yeah, but we didn't ask.
And I've given you all these bullets and the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
But nobody asked.
No man asked.
No, this time we went the Holy Grail. The healing ability.
Yeah, I guess that's true. If we want to go with the
I mean, we don't have any Nazis to melt.
yeah. That's well. How do you know?
That's right. It is mid-Missouri.
So,
Should we wait for Joe to get back so he can play his ghost?
so
Magic water.
Yeah, I'll pull Joe out and then wrap him up in the blanket that we had laying down, and then
Can
pick him up and I'll bring him out.
I come out of the other room and I just kind of look at you. So, what are we gonna do now?
I look where you came from and I go, was it worth it?
No.
And I kick Koresh.
left of him.
Right. So now what?
We need to go back. We need to get the girl. And then we need to go home.
Yeah. I look around. Where's Lee?
Outside.
Oh. That crash is all torn up. Yeah, I was trying before he was wearing that kind of makeshift, sort of survivalist kind of armor and whatnot. Now that he's been all tore up and some of that armor's missing and whatnot. Underneath that, he is wearing another set of clothing.
Is it a tuxedo?
It is a tuxedo. No. He's more casually dressed. But as ragged and smelly as it is, and you have no idea why he would be wearing it given how incredibly ragged and smelly it is, he is wearing some pre-war clothing. And since you're kicking him around, there is something in at least one of his pockets.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll loot the body. I'll reach down, get whatever into his pocket. I'll also take the other part of the amulet that he had.
Okay.
He had the other piece, right?
So you take the other part of the amulet. Okay.
Right.
You take the other part of the amulet. You get his shotgun back,
Yeah.
plus all but 2 of its rounds.
No, I have all the rounds.
Oh, that's right. He let you keep them.
That's right.
That's right. You're right. So
So wait a minute. What did he shoot Joe with?
he would have easy access to shotgun rounds.
Or does he?
No, he does. But
I
so
tried, man.
you get his double.
rock salt.
So one of you has a gun back now.
Ouch.
You have a shotgun, and Chad, in addition to the 2 you had in there, give yourself another 6 rounds. that you're never going to fire,
Right.
but might be used to kill another teammate.
That's true. No, I'll just make him feel guilty so he kills himself.
And the other thing that you pull out of him is an equally rotten, dirty, sweat stinking leather wallet.
Okay. Okay. So I'll take that. I'll take the other part of the medallion, and I'll take his gas mask too.
Okay.
And then as
Oh, the gas mask, and I told you this when he was wearing it, doesn't actually work.
I know, but still,
It's, yeah,
just for a fact,
it's decorative.
right? And then as I'm hefting Joe's body, I bend over as Phil comes walking up. I pick up Pop's hat, and I set it on Phil's head, and I walk out.
You guys ride back toward the, well, I assume, you guys ride back toward the IS camp. As you do, as the evening goes on or the night goes on, Philip, your body becomes completely numb as well. Do you guys stop at some point during the night?
I think we'd have to, don't we?
Yeah, it's like a day's journey.
All right, you stop somewhere and sleep out in the middle of the woods. And Mortimer, that night, everything is very fevered. You come in and out of sleep, you think. There's stuff where you see the woods and you see the moon and the stars, and you maybe see someone next to you that you recognize, and then suddenly you're in another place doing something else with somebody else, and then you're in the woods again, but there's people with you, not these people, but you can see like figures standing around you, looking down on you. You feel presences all around you. Then you sort of fall back asleep, you think, and you're a child again, and there's a woman that's leading you, but you don't remember who it is or where you met her or why she's taking you, but you feel like you should know who she is. And then you're back in the woods and there's someone next to you that's sleeping, that's looking at you. It's this kind of gaunt-looking guy that you think is from St. Louis, and you think that he was named after an animal. They called him the eel. And then you're back asleep again, and that woman's with you. She makes you feel safe, but you can't see her face, and now her name is getting farther and farther from you. Was it Rachel? No, you're pretty sure it was Ma Carver, maybe when she was young, really young. Or no, maybe it was the wife of the old guy that runs the inn on the St. Louis Landing. And then there's people standing around you in the woods again, and it's still dark. And then Dr. Marshall is shaking you, and it's completely bright out. And she's looking at you and says, Momar, are you feeling okay?
What time is it?
I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 in the morning?
I had a really weird dream. I was seeing all kinds of weird stuff, people, and I was a kid, and I don't know. It's like that one time that Joe and I ate those weird mushrooms when we were kids.
Did you eat weird mushrooms yesterday?
Not that I can remember, but it was weird. It was really. It was like I was there.
You're an early riser, right?
Yeah.
So you see this going on. Mortimer, you look past Dr. Marshall and you see him standing there. And you're very surprised because you remember him from the dream. The guy that was pale and gaunt that you met in St. Louis who did quite a bit to manipulate you, and you think at one time might have had yellow eyes, and they called him the eel, and he's standing right there.
All right, I look at Lee and I go, eel?
Lee just looks at you and shakes his head and kind of turns and walks away to the edge of the camp.
Then I look over at Casey. What does that mean?
Casey, give your response.
I don't know.
Mortimer, Casey says to you, he's deceiving you. Work hard enough and you'll see through it. And for the sake of the audience,
Brodor had a major freak out. It's very quiet.
if there was a camera, and this was a movie, the camera would zoom into the wallet taken from Koresh's body, sitting open, and in it the only thing is a license from the Missouri Lutheran Synod that identifies a young man pre-war by the name of Pastor Grant Watson.
And that's why he was screwing up the baptism. Lutherans. Philip, you monster.
Okay, post-game.
So, out of character, is that name supposed to mean something?
That's who Koresh really is.
Okay, it wasn't a name we've heard before. Okay.
Pre-war, too. That means
Got it.
he's
Right.
really old. Because he wasn't like 10 when the bombs dropped either. So how long has it been?
50 years.
50 years. And so the guy was a pastor, which means he's not 20. Youngest, 30 to get through that?
And physically,
So he's at minimum probably about 80. Minimum 80. But physically, he looks like a bloodstain that we can't ask questions to.
it's okay, they can't question Joe either.
I know, right? So Joe can't be upset and there's no more shit list. So
Yeah, there's no more shit lists. Yeah. Wait till I play Captain Amelie.
there to repel borders.
I'm not even kidding about that.
You're
Are you gonna play Emily?
I would seriously. I have to think about it because I'm so
I played a little girl once. It was great.
I'm so sad and shocked that I'll have to think about it and what do I want to do and what makes sense.
Okay, general commentary on the game. So I felt it had a little bit of a slow start because I needed to get you. There were some things that I had to get you guys to and reveal, but I didn't want to do too quickly and artificially. Now, obviously, there are a lot of questions that still have yet to be answered. But overall, what did you guys think of the game as a whole? Even if, certain...
So it was like what's that Mel Gibson movie about Jesus? I think it's called Jesus Nazareth.
the Passion of the Christ.
Passion of Christ. So you watch that movie and somebody asks you, well, how'd you like it? And you're like, you don't say, oh, I thought it was great. It was really entertaining. Because
It's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's really horrible to watch. And but it's a very good movie. And that's how I felt about this one. It's just like, was this fun and happy and entertaining? No. But was it good? It was excellent.
No,
it was a very excellent game.
Yeah, no, it was, and it certainly illustrates a number of things about the world, about the world's lethality, but also just every group having its own dynamic and its own power struggles. I mean, from St. Louis to the Ists to Herman to the party, having division and politics in trying to work together and gain advantage and It's very interesting.
I can't think of another way Joe would go out other than rushing in like that.
Yeah.
I really thought you were going to get yourself killed last game when you rushed in for the big save there.
But I thought I was going to get myself killed the game before that after I shot the Rat Man. So, I'm embracing that, Joe's reckless nature was not built for this world.
Oh, and Philip was, while he manipulated Joe, he never expected Joe to do that. He should have, because that's Joe's move.
Right.
Lee is so angry at Philip right now.
The shitless.
So mad.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm waiting for it to come out because Philip's been frustrated with Lee. He basically thought that the way Lee was behaving with Maul Carver, that he was just playing a game and he wasn't taking this seriously. And he's always joking and
He was trying. Lee was trying to find. He plucked one of the strings last game.
Right.
He was searching for more strings, and he found some more strings in Koresh, and he was not playing it to play the game. He was playing it to make an opening so that we could escape.
Yeah, and out of character, that's obvious.
Yeah.
In character, Philip's he's just playing with these people.
Right.
This is all just a big game to him. He doesn't realize how serious this is.
Yeah.
That man needs to die.
I think one of the things that's going to be interesting for me as a game master to see is that one of the things you guys commented on about the other boat, the Piasaw, is that it wasn't clear who was in charge. Because you had Captain Bill, who seemed to be kind of quietly observing. You had the individual whose name you never got, who was actually giving the orders. And then you had Cyrus Weiss, who was ostensibly the owner, right? So which of these three is actually calling the shots? And now you guys have the exact same situation on your own ship, because to the best of my knowledge, there was never established you had one captain and everybody else was an ensign.
Yeah. Another thing is that, the only thing that had ever been established is that Casey would be the person that whenever we left, I would leave Casey in charge of the ship, right? In charge of the boat. So, Casey would be the logical choice in that chain of custody. However, I don't think Casey would have any interest in doing that, number one. And number two, he'd have to fight Captain Amelie.
Because none of the other characters want to be captain of the boat.
Lee?
No, nobody wants to be the puppet. They just want to have their hand up the puppet's ass.
Lee does not consider himself part of the crew. Lee considers himself a passenger. He always has.
And that's really part of the problem, Lee. That's really the problem.
Casey does. Casey does consider himself part of the crew.
Yeah.
He's not quite sure how he fits in exactly.
Well, he's the captain.
But he does see himself as part of the crew.
They're to mutiny against Captain Amelie and take over the boat.
Yeah, because Casey's totally
First
the type
thing we're going to do is change that stupid name. And then
Casey's totally the type to punch out a 13 or 14-year-old girl.
Gotta hope so.
No, he's not.
I know. Yeah. No, I knew that to be the case.
I think we have a very interesting road ahead of us, because I've always seen Joe as kind of like the heart and soul. Right?
Yeah, he's the
heart and
glue
soul.
that keeps us
right.
together.
So now,
And the conscience.
Yeah. So now, how do we proceed?
Well, and I mean, talk about a miraculously serendipitous skies of glass lesson, right? Like, hey, that guy doesn't live in this world.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't.
Actually, I think the real skies of glass miracle, because it only hands out dark miracles, is that your foil through this entire game has been Lee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were just killed with Lee's gun.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Dude, when you said double barrel shotgun, I was like, oh, God. And then when both of those D12 hit location dice, both of them slapped on torso, I was like, well, I'm fucking dead. I mean, there's no way to slice this other than my insides are on the out. It's brutal.
Guess you should have listened to Lee.
Yeah, the problem with this game is that I listen to Lee too much.
That's right.
That's really the problem. Yeah. No, I'm gonna miss Joe, because you're right. He he was the moral compass. He was the thing that directed us and said, "Hey, don't be villains." And then Philip said, "Don't be a villain," and I was like, "You're right. These guys are villains. Huzzah!"
Hey, look, guns do work.
Yeah, guns do work.
So, what do you have in mind for next character?
I honestly don't know. I had never. I mean, I had certainly considered the mortality of my character in this game.
Told you. Make a backup.
I had not. Well, I've got 2 weeks to come up with a backup.
Yeah,
I already have my backup cleared with Dan.
I intentionally don't, because then the backup starts getting fleshed out in my mind, and I start wanting to play it.
Yeah.
And then I start thinking, should I just have my character die so I can play the backup?
Lee would think,
and I don't want
you
to
need to have your character die.
Oh, also, to those of you at home, I had somebody on the Patreon ask what I had done with that poll, asking what the manpower increase was. It has already been enacted. Just, it will need time to appear, but it has already been enacted. Because they did vote for somebody, and then they were like, somebody was asking me, like, so, because then a game came out after that, and they're like, so is this not being done? Or no, it's, trust me, it's there. It just hasn't been, it's not been made apparent yet.
I'm gonna play
there.
I'm gonna play a Ratman clone. I'm from Bacta Tank 17.
And you're going to be horribly disappointed when you find out that's not where Ratman comes from. When you find out that he's actually just like an inbred albino from
Mid-Missouri.
From some trash heap. Yeah.
He's from Roswell.
He just found some old meth. He's a normal guy, but he found some old meth.
The sad thing is, I think there was a whole mystery of the other side of the door in the cave that the characters just wouldn't search for right now.
Yeah, because the mood sort of.
Oh yeah, no, it makes it makes perfect sense.
Hey, the door's open.
That
totally doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Well, you guys, okay. You did take the one thing that can still answer a lot of questions about it, which is the journal.
Right.
You took the journal, which is good, because I don't want to do it right now, because I think it would be anticlimactic to get into what's in the journal.
Right.
But let me tell you, once you read what's in the journal, your life's about to get a lot more complicated.
Yeah. He took the journal thinking it was the current Mall Carvers, and thinking maybe there would be something in there. But he hasn't even started reading it on the way back. Not even stopped.
All right, well, gentlemen, it's 11. I should probably get going.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, so thank you guys for listening. Ferdor, I know it's 11. Can you stay for a couple minutes?
Sure.
It's like 5-minute one-on-one.
Yeah.
Okay.